It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences Incorporated.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep 149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. 149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Variably cloudy skies and a mild afternoon with a high near 60. Not far from normal for it this time of year. Mid-40s tonight and a nice jump into the low 70s for tomorrow. Beautiful day to be outside. Sunday looks different. We'll see the highs in the 50s with cloudy skies and a chance of a shower.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 197 points to 42,776. Market update brought to you by Lufthansa. Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
Dangerous play as Aho comes up with it, cuts to the net, waits, and scores! Oh, Shorty, talk to me. Peak hammers one through. Kochetkov doesn't know where it is. Then he reaches back and scoops that up with the blocker hands. For shooting lane, they score! Get your bounces here. Now it's given away. Jarvis, shot, he scores! Oh, taking advantage of the miscue.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let me be amongst the first to say, good riddance, Mikko Rantanen. Got my hopes up for the long haul. I thought we could have been something.
Bye, Felicia.
Be gone. Wanna be gone. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox, producing the show. It's all right to be angry. This is going to be a place where we can be angry today. Furious even. Enraged even. But that's not to say that the Canes lost the big picture. It's not to say that anyone, it's to say this. When you chase big dreams, sometimes it stings. I like big swings. I would have made the Mikko Rantanen trade at the same time that the Canes did, the first one. I like big swings, and I cannot lie. But sometimes they lead to I don't even want to call it a strikeout. It's like I don't know, you've reached on like a catcher's interference. Here's what happened for those of you that are just getting the news. Mikko Rantanen traded to the Dallas Stars in exchange for a young center, Logan Stankoven, 2 firsts and 2 thirds. Those are draft picks.
Those picks coming in 2026 and 2027, by the way.
It was a long, drawn-out experience. The trade deadline technically was at 3, so it is 3 minutes in the past. However, there is a bit of time traveling that happens. That's when the deals have to be submitted. Sometimes the reporting doesn't come for a little bit, so we'll be waiting to see if those picks were flipped for anything. We'll be waiting to see if any more news does abound. But this is why I'm mad. Okay, this is why I'm enraged. This is why... don't let the door hit you on the way out, Mikko Rantanen. We have some reporting done on the offers. We have some reporting done on what deal he accepted from the Dallas Stars during this whole process. David Pagnotta of the Fourth Period tweeted out that the Carolina offer that Mikko Rantanen left, right? Thank you. No, thank you. Was in the $13.25 million per year neighborhood. I've seen 13.5 referenced. I've seen 13.25 I think is a good baseline for like where the reporting kind of lends itself. So we're rolling with that. Dallas appears to be 8 years, $12 million, maybe 12 and a half. Still waiting on all the actual down and dirty details.
As far as I know, it's 8 times 12.
8 times 12 versus 8 times 13.25. I don't care that the state of North Carolina has what I believe is a 4% tax, that the state income tax.
Slightly over, but
that Texas doesn't have, because the gap between $13.25 million per year and $12 million per year is significantly more than 4%. So roughly, by not being in a state that takes out all those state income taxes, you get about $500,000 more, but you passed on $1.25 million more. You're looking at a difference, and this is rudimentary math. We'll call it $600,000 a year more that the Canes offered you in practical money than the Dallas Stars. So you're not only saying you want to play for Dallas more than the Canes, you're saying you want to play for Dallas more than the Canes, at least $600,000 per year more. You're willing to walk away from over $500,000 per year more. The Canes, the city, the area, the front office, the coaching staff, the players, they should take that as an insult. They should. That's an insult to Carolina if you offer more money to a player who, by the way, appears to have moved on or been moved on from in Colorado because he was chasing dollars. Then you are the one that gives the most dollars and you're not chosen. Be upset with that. If you were going to take a haircut, if you were going to take less money, why aren't you playing out the rest of your career next to Nathan McKinnon being set up with those goals on a platter that you've been used to the last 10 years? If you wanted to go somewhere and be the guy, why wouldn't you go somewhere where you're the highest paid guy? Carolina. 2020 hindsight, because I know there are those of you out there that will brutalize the front office of the Canes for making the trade and then being caught in this position where you had to scramble to get value at the deadline. I hear it, right? I hear it. If we're watching the film, we're looking back at how it goes, 2020 hindsight deal, I think you probably want to go back in time and make sure you knew that Rantanen was going to consider Carolina much more seriously than he did. It doesn't seem like it was really ever on his list of options. Kind of go with more of I call it the proposal rule, right? You don't drop to a knee and propose to your girlfriend unless you're 100% sure that's going to be a yes. You don't trade for the guy who needs to sign the extension unless you're 100% sure that's going to be the yes, or you have some kind of more awareness of what his priorities are, and you're pretty confident you can give him what he's looking for. That's the hey, we'll watch film and get better. But I think you don't get many opportunities at Mikko Rantanen. And not, when I say Mikko Rantanen, I mean the player. I mean like the idea of the player. The Carolina Hurricanes have not had a multiple 100-point scorer since Whalers days, I'm pretty sure.
No, 06.
Yeah.
Eric Stahl.
I said multiple.
Oh, multiple 100-point seasons? Yeah.
And you just had a chance at a guy that's done it multiple times. So you take the swing. I still thinking you might have tried and convinced him later on, but it's looking more and more and more and more like the writing was on the wall. That guy wasn't going to stay in Carolina. So you get what you can get. You move out of it. And you try to make the best of a bad situation. I think there's a lot of winners. I think there's a lot of losers in this deal. I think there's a lot of moving parts. I think it's one of those deals that we won't know who wins for years. Anytime draft picks are involved, that's how it goes. You don't know how the Canes are going to use those draft picks. You don't know what they're going to turn into.
Well, they're not going to turn it into anything today. Frank Saravalli of Daily Faceoffs and Sportsnet just said, Canes are done for the day, no additional moves coming.
So they leave the day. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis.
Okay.
Logan Stankoven on the squad.
Yep.
Young, what is he, 22, 21, 22?
It's not 22.
Young center, undersized.
Right-handed.
Playing for the Dallas Stars. Center is a position to need. They walk away with 2 first-round picks, both from Dallas in 26 and 27, and 2 third-round picks. Are those also 26 and 27?
That's correct.
And are they also originally from Dallas?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, so likely back half of the first round, 2 firsts, back half of the third round, 2 thirds in 26 and 27, and Logan Stankoven in exchange for Mikko Rantanen, who, by all accounts, is agreeing to a long-term extension with Dallas. We have sound, I'm told, this is my first time hearing this, from Mikko Rantanen on TSN talking about his decision and the trade, and this is what I'm not even going to call him, I was going to say the guy we used to call Moose. No, this is what Mikko Rantanen had to say to TSN. No more pet names.
Obviously, I had to look at all the options because there was no deal when the trade happened, so I was kind of in a situation where, I had to really think about my life for a long period of time, not only on ice, but also off the ice. And obviously, really good team in Carolina. As we've seen in last couple of years, they've been close to the Stanley Cup. But I think, just the fit in Dallas and I'm thinking about it a lot with my camp and myself and Susanna and everything. So, just the fit, I feel like, everywhere. I think that was what the decision was.
Talk is cheap. Don't go and compliment Carolina right now. Your actions have spoken louder than words ever could.
You didn't want to be here. You were disinterested. You didn't want to be here. It's fine.
You don't want to be here. You don't want to be. You don't. That's fine. I don't want to say it's fine. It's your prerogative. You have the right. You've built the value in your career, right? You're a really good player with a really good resume, and you are wanted across the league, so you have earned the right to make decisions. That does not mean your decisions are not met with emotional reaction from the other side. That does not mean your decisions are met without circumstances or without consequences. You are now an enemy of the Carolina Hurricanes. That's how sports work. I don't wish ill upon you or your family or anything personal. I wish you not success on the ice.
You're officially jackwagon number 1.
There you go. Straight to the top of the list.
Yep.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I hope you enjoy Dallas.
Actually, who's also ticked off at him? Colorado Avalanche fans. Because,
Absolutely.
wait a second. That's all it's going to take to keep you? This whole contract stuff that you said that this whole $14 million a year and all that, you settle for 12? Oh, okay. All right. You see how it is.
I'm not kidding here. I don't know if there's a winner in this situation. Maybe Dallas because they got
Dallas. Yeah.
They got a top 10 player in the league, kind of on the cheap compared to what everyone believed. But I think Mikko, if he had a time travel device and he went back in time, 8 years, $12 million, maybe 12 and a half to make up the difference in taxes from Colorado. He and McKinnon play another 8-10 years together. They might forever be linked with statues outside the stadium 15 years from now. And just a ridiculous amount of statistical output. He got out over his skis a little bit, thought he was worth a little more. Carolina said no. He said, all right, I guess I'll go to Dallas and accept the offer there, even though it's not $14 million per year. Heck, it's not even $13 million per year. There's a lot to break down. There's a lot of math that we need to do, big picture looking at. So we'll stay on this. But before we jump to some of the when you really think about the trade, this is what it is. Conversations. Here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Believe it or not, folks, they're talking about deadlines today, right? Well, there's a deadline coming up. It's April 6th. That's your deadline to enter to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Just go to caniacsbike.com. The Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes all teamed up once again to give one lucky fan a custom-built motorcycle, a custom Caniacs motorcycle to be specific. Custom painted with logos and colors of the Canes, white wall tires, gorgeous motorcycle. Again, just go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Like I said, the deadline, we're all about deadlines right now, April 6th. The bike will be given away on the ice at the last home game of the year. But don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter for your chance to win. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This is hilarious. Brad Marchand's going to Florida?
Yeah. He's hurt right now, so he won't be able to play right away. But yes.
They just wanted a... You know how, like, after a really serious text, if you want someone to know you're not mad, you just throw LOL? After a really serious trade deadline, the hockey world just wanted us to know we were still having a good time, so they threw Marchand to Florida as the LOL at the end of the trade deadline. Just like, in there. We're having a good time, aren't we? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Martin Necas, where does he fit into all of this? Stick around.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring. The perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
The Offspring. Supercharged worldwide in 25. One unforgettable summer night. The Offspring. Live in Raleigh. With special guests Jimmy Eat World and Newfound Glory. Playing Coastal Credit Union Music Park Raleigh, July 16th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. 3 great bands. One incredible show. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Peak hammers one through. Kochetkov doesn't know where it is. Then he reaches back and scoops that up with the blocker hand.
Frederic Lacourier, the referee, was right behind the net, and he knew that puck was loose and thankfully stagnant.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Mikko Rantanen traded. It happened. It happened. There was also a game last night, which, and I this is not being mean. This is being honest.
3 straight wins, baby. Let's go.
This is not meant to be rubbing salt in the wound or twisting the knife, but despite the play of Mikko Rantanen for the Carolina Hurricanes last night, they got a win. And to break down more of it, here's Adam Gold, our very own from here at 99.9 The Fan, with 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 points that weren't too well deserved, thanks to number 2-4 and number 5-2. And it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. So Seth Jarvis gets a break and gets the game winner.
Now it's given away. Jarvis, shot, he scores! Oh, taking advantage of the miscue with 18.6 left. Seth Jarvis, no mistake. And Carolina takes a 3-2 lead.
Sebastian Aho also scored. He's got the number 2 in his name, too. It is wild. But the real star of this show was number 52, Pyotr Kochetkov, who was awesome last night. Maybe his best game of the year. Just ask Boston's sniper, David Pastrnak.
Zock out in front for Pastrnak. Save made by Kochetkov. Now it's going to be a chance for the Bruins coming in. Pastrnak, Kochetkov, net!
7 times in all, Kochetkov got Pastrnak last night, including on a breakaway. It was remarkable. This was what we call a smash and grab. Canes were never better than Boston at any point other than maybe the last 4.5 or 5 minutes, and they come away with both points. They now lead New Jersey by 6 points for second place in the Metropolitan Division with 19 games to play. So the Canes pick up 2 points they didn't necessarily deserve to get. Hey, this has happened to Carolina a fair amount, so let's not pretend that it hasn't gone the other way. Would still be nice to score a power play goal, or at least look good on the power play. The head coach was not happy with the couple of power plays they had last night. It was not great, but the Hurricanes at least get 2 points, and now a big stretch with Winnipeg on Sunday and Tampa on Tuesday as Carolina tries to get back to being who they are in the Eastern Conference. All of this brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. ParkwaySleep.com. Start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health, sound the Kochetkovs.
Thank you very much, Adam Gold, for 2 minutes of gold following last night's win by the Carolina Hurricanes. Now we have to decide, speaking of winning and losing, when you combine the 2 trades, the trade that brought Mikko Rantanen to the Carolina Hurricanes and the trade that sent Mikko Rantanen from the Carolina Hurricanes, did they win or lose? Because we can break them down, right? You kind of cross out Mikko Rantanen in the deal, right? I don't remember like all the division and stuff from middle school. You can cross cancel, and you can see what's left. And what's left is you sent out of your organization Martin Necas, Jack Drury, a second rounder, a third rounder, and a fourth rounder. And you brought into your organization Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, 2 firsts, and 2 thirds. I think the Canes are mathematically up there.
Yeah.
I think
at minimum, it's a wash.
If you go back to last offseason when there was so much Necas drama, if I told you I can get you 2 first-round picks and Logan Stankoven for Martin Necas, I think everybody smashes the accept button pretty quickly.
Probably.
And then you remove that from the deal, and you get Taylor Hall, who, by the way, does appear someone that's embracing Carolina
100%.
And wants to be a part of the system and likes the crew and, you know, is embracing the community. You get Taylor Hall for Jack Drury, Taylor Hall and 2 third-rounders for Jack Drury, a second, a third, and a fourth. I think that's a wash probably as well. So you're coming out on top. The issue is, in the middle of those 2 deals happening, there was the hope of what Mikko Rantanen represented, so it feels like there's a loss. If you listen to the show, you know I'm a fan of analogies. This is what I think it is. And Dennis, you tell me if I make money or lose money in this situation.
Okay.
I go into the casino with $500.
All right.
That's how much I've budgeted to gamble. At one point in the night, I'm up $5,000, right? And I'm feeling large. And I'm talking about I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Hit a cold streak, and I walk out with $900. Did I make money or did I lose money?
You made money.
Yeah, but it feels like you lost money, didn't it?
Yeah, it feels like you lost $4,100, but really you made $400.
Exactly. You didn't quite double your money. It wasn't like, you're not going to call up your buddy. You're never going to guess what happened at the casino last night. I made so much, but you're still making money, right? And that's kind of what I look at it here. The Mikko Rantanen trade, when it happened, felt like you're up $5,000 in the casino, right? Top 7, top 8 players, right? Those guys never become available, and the Canes just pulled it off, and nobody knew. They had Chicago taking on salary, and they didn't even know what player they were doing it for. This is bananas. I'm not sure if everyone else can hear this. I can hear myself in my headphones, which is going to confuse me. There we go. All right. If you couldn't hear that, then maybe I'm just hearing voices in my head. It's been a crazy day. Right? The Rantanen trade made you feel like you were up $5,000 at the casino. Now, this trade, especially picks, right? Because picks aren't going to help you now. When you go into the postseason this year in a wide open East, you're not going to be able to look towards those 2 future firsts and say, I need you to go win a face-off for me. Like it's going to feel like you're walking out of there with empty pockets, but remember what you started with. You started with Martin Necas, Jack Drury, a second, a third, and a fourth. I think you brought back more than that in the long haul. Somewhere in the middle, you may have had a big chip stack at the table, but that's not a healthy way to look at it. You're going to beat yourself up. I think the question you ask is, back when Martin Necas was on the Canes, would you have accepted 2 first-round picks and Logan Stankoven? I think most of us would say yes. And if that's the case, you just had to play out 13 games of the Mikko Rantanen roller coaster to get to this point. I don't agree with everything they did on the way to get there, but when you look at where you're at, right? When you look at the place you have found yourself at the moment, I don't know, you're up like $400. Go get yourself a nice meal and get ready for the offseason. Because you're going to have a boatload of cap space. You're going to have a boatload of picks to use to maneuver and acquire players who want to accept that cap space. And you're going to have the same core that you have. And those contracts are only going to age well. Dmitry Orlov's contract's coming off the books. Brent Burns' contract likely coming off the books. Freddie Anderson's contract likely coming off the books. There's going to be money to spend. A rising cap. Mikko Rantanen didn't want to accept your money. It hurts. Go give that money to someone else. Took about 2 seconds for a few people on my Twitter to start going like, Mitch Marner this offseason, baby. Like I like the turnover. I like looking towards the future. The Rantanen deal, it was a roller coaster. It'll be a funny story to tell 5 years from now. Remember when Mike Piazza was a Marlin? Like it's a funny story to tell in a bunch of years from now.
Remember when?
There's somewhere there's like a, Rasheed Wallace Hornets jersey. I don't know if that's actually true. But trades, guys are on teams for a few minutes and you move on and it's all about the big picture. Even if it stings and even if you want to boo Mikko Rantanen the next time he comes to the Lenovo Center, I'm fine with it.
Well, we'll definitely get into, all right, what's this team looking like now moving forward? Because now we know what the squad is.
Yep.
We'll definitely dive into that for sure.
We know what the squad looks like for this year.
Yes, for this year. For right now. And maybe
some rookies pulled up and some other things that we can all talk about. There's a little bit of room. There's a lot to get to, and we will, I promise. Long show today here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Don't go anywhere.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello. Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Tonight we are at Green Level High School, and we're here to celebrate the newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Lexi Taylor.
My family is definitely like my biggest support through everything. My sister and my parents both support me through my hardest days and my best days, and they're always there to support me.
Lexi's a phenomenal athlete, comfortable with whatever you ask her to do. She's strong, she's poised, she doesn't get flustered easily.
And she's just like grown up so much as like a captain and a teammate, and she's been a captain now for 2 years, and I really just think she's been like such a great help to our team.
Well, I've been cheering with her since 7th grade, and we're seniors now, so I've kind of like watched Lexi like grow up, I feel like, and she's like done the same with me. So I've like seen her like step into a leadership role, and I feel like she's just always super encouraging and keeps a positive attitude.
It means a lot to me to just be able to be recognized in such like a wide area with so many amazing athletes. So I just feel great to like feel like someone's like seeing all the hard work that I've been putting into my sport and my academics, so I'm very grateful for it.
Congratulations, Lexi.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
This hour of the drive brought to you by Lufthansa. Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So there was big news earlier today. Mikko Rantanen, Carolina Hurricanes for 6 weeks. 2 of them he was playing for Team Finland in the Four Nations, so we'll call it 6 weeks generously. He was traded to the Dallas Stars earlier today. We are going to open up the phone lines, the Heister Automotive Group hotline, for your reactions. If you have any questions, some venting that needs to take place, or whatever you need to do, we want to hear it. So the Heister Automotive Group hotline will be opened up about 5 minutes from now, 919-860-5326. But first, we're going to hit a little Dean's List action because there is a big college basketball game this weekend. It's the beauty of doing sports radio in the Triangle. You have just a massive trade in the NHL. And, oh, by the way, Duke at UNC on Saturday. That's the B plot you're telling me today?
Just one of the best rivalries in all sports. Yeah, with a bunch of stakes on the line. That's fine.
Yeah, that's it. This game is going to be a blast for exactly what Dennis just kind of alluded to there. It is, no joke, stakes. Like this is not a also-ran game that only has sizzle because of the names. UNC, I believe if they win, they get in the NCAA tournament. And if UNC doesn't get in the NCAA tournament, catastrophic, right? UNC should be in the tournament every year, let alone missing 2 of 4 years under Hubert Davis. Duke, if they win, they're the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament, and they complete what could arguably be, now granted there's arguments, I'm not saying it's the winner, but it's in the mix, one of the greatest regular season conference schedules of all time. They'd be the first team in ACC history to win 19 conference games. Since they expanded to 20 league games per year, they'd be the first to go 19-1. There's a lot on the line for both of them, and not to mention potentially a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, number 1 overall seed for Duke. So there's stakes. I'll lock in on UNC first. I know who needs to have a massive game for UNC. I have 4 names in front of me. They've had massive games in different ways. First, Drake Powell. He's given up size, but looking at everyone in college basketball, Drake Powell has as good of a chance as anyone in college basketball to match up with Cooper Flagg when Cooper has the ball. Right? He's 6'6", but he's got leaping ability, so he's not necessarily a gigantic size matchup for the 6'9" plus Cooper Flagg. He's also quick laterally, right? He's got his own kind of freakish athleticism, so he needs to match up with Cooper. He needs to take that challenge personally. And if it means giving up a little bit of what Drake Powell brings to them offensively, that's fine. Ian Jackson and Jalen Withers need to have big games, specifically shooting the ball from deep. Those are the 2 guys for UNC that shoot over 40% from 3 this season. And to pull off an upset against a team like Duke, against a team loaded with NBA talent, against a team that has been the best roster in college basketball this year, you need to knock down threes. Ian Jackson has the ability to make tough threes. Jalen Withers, with his size, is obviously a challenge there if he's knocking down threes. Lastly, RJ Davis. Up and down, you can say underwhelming this year. It's senior day, senior night for UNC. I also think if UNC is going to pull off the upset, it's not going to be by 12, right? I don't think they're going to run away with it. It'll be a close game. And if it comes down to one shot for UNC, I still think RJ Davis is the one to take it. Because of what he means to that program, because of the experience, I still think he's the one to take it. If they win, I think there will be an iconic shot, and I think it will be RJ Davis's. Duke side, this one's tough. Who needs to have a good game? Dennis, what's your favorite thing about Duke? We did not plan this, but I know what his answer is going to be.
Lineup versatility.
There you go. Their lineup versatility makes it so it's not like, hey, these guys need to have a big deal or have a big game or they need to do this great. It's like they need to do one of these 8 things pretty well, and that's going to get it done. Right? Oh, if Cooper Flagg has 30, that'll get it done. Or if Con Knipple has 18. Or if Isaiah Evans has 14 off the bench. Or if Kamen Malawash catches 5 oops, right? There's like a million different ways for them to have a effective day. And that's just, I think that's the most rudimentary way to describe it, scoring points. They could, looking at the 2 Wake Forest games, they won one scoring 62. They won one scoring 90 plus. Right? You can win it with defense, win it with offense, win it with everything else. So pretty much everyone involved in that game or anyone that has ever been involved in that game, you get to be Dean's List because it's that much darn fun to watch. Class dismissed. I said earlier we'd open up the phone lines for Mikko Rantanen trade reactions, and we'll do that right now. Little emergency Friday NHL trade deadline edition of Monday Sound Off. We'll call it a Friday Sound Off. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for your reactions to Mikko Rantanen or any of the other moves that the Canes did or didn't make. 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. Joe in Raleigh is up first. Joe, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
I just want to say I'm glad we got rid of him. He was pouting like a little kid the entire time he was here. I mean, you know, you watched him last night against the Bruins, and when he was on the ice, it was like 4-on-5. I saw him throw his stick at a guy at the top of the blue line on the defensive zone. I was literally thinking to myself, I could go play better hockey than that. Like, it was pathetic watching the guy play. And I don't care, he's 6'4", or whatever, and we got a 5'8" guy and replaces him. I'd rather have a guy 5'8", guys like Seth Jarvis who give 100% than some 6'4" giant baby skating around the middle of the rink, soaking up salary cap space.
Anything else, Joe? That was fantastic. I'm going to give you all the time and space you need if you want to keep going. But did you get that off your chest?
I mean, you know, professional hockey player getting paid millions of dollars. He can't prove he's done anything away from Nathan McKinnon out in Colorado. You know, a top 5 player in the league. I think Dallas got fleeced, if you want to know the truth. Depending on what we do with those 2 first-round picks, whether we flip them next year at the trade deadline,
get him,
or we
Joe.
draft somebody late that winds up being a producer. I mean, I think we did great.
Get him, Joe. Appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. You're on the cool list. Few things. One, Mikko was really bad last night. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Dude sucked last night. I mean, call it what it is.
Orlov wasn't in the game, so Mikko said, "I'll get your turnovers, my turnovers, and Apple turnover just for good measure." I don't necessarily blame him for last night. Playing when your name's in every trade rumor is tough. The previous 12 games and totaling 2 goals scored, those start to become the issue. So I'm with it. I will. The fan base turned on him on a dime. It went from like do anything it takes to get him to re-sign to get him the heck out of here. I hate this guy quickly.
Yeah, well, when you can tell someone's not bought in.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
I'm not going to buy into you if you're not going to buy into us. Simple as that.
And that's for everything in life, right? It's like if you're here and you're pouting, leave, right? No, you have options. Go take them. We'll send you where do you want to go. Craig and Raleigh up next on the Heister Automotive Group hotline here on a special Friday sound off. If you have takes on the Mikko Rantanen trade, we want to hear them. Craig, go ahead and sound off. Thanks for calling.
Okay, terrific. Obviously, a lot of passion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll get a lot more passion. I'll try to stay a little calmer, but very passionate about this.
Love it.
Couple points here. First, my assessment, Mikko Rantanen is not a top 10 player. He's not a top 10 player, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He rides the coattails of people around him. Nothing wrong with that. You need people who follow the rush and then they clean up.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. But he's not. He needs a facilitator, a big league facilitator, to be a 100-point player. We don't have that, okay? No, I love Aho and everybody else. We don't have that big-time facilitator. The thing about him, I need time to think about this. This is probably the most passionate point I have. I just got traded. I wasn't expecting this. I need time to think about this. Tim, if you're a $1 million professional, you're making millions of dollars, especially in the business world, but in sports as well. You know, you're 18 years old, 20 years old. You live a different life than most people. He knew what he was doing here. He didn't want to be here from day one. It was reported in a Finland newspaper. You can go out on the internet, find it. Right after the trade, he was crying to them, saying, I don't understand what happened. I would have taken less than fair market value, is what he said. I don't understand. So he was playing hardball. He's not a Draisaitl. He's not, again, top 10. I won't list out who all those are. Another example. First 13 games, Natchez has 15 points. Getzel, when he was traded to us, I'm sure it was a little bit of a deal for him. He had spent his whole career with Pittsburgh. Well, he had 14 points. Mikko, we know, the 6 points. So 15, 14, 6. All three of these outstanding people got put on a new team, and they had to deal with it. I think I heard somebody say, well, he hasn't had a chance to visit the art museum. I think maybe that was a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I was like, nah. And hey, Tim, or me, or Kevin, whoever, you just got a $20 million a year deal to head up ESPN National across the country. You're going to be the face of the TV, the radio, whatever you want. We're going to court you, blah, blah, blah. What are we going to say? Well, think about it. Give us a week, a month. No. Fair business deal is give us 5 days. And I believe they did that. I don't fault Eric in all this.
Yep. All right, Craig, we got to move on. We got a lot of people on the line, but I love your passion, and you're right. You did come with some well-measured points, so thank you very much. I agree with Craig on the I need time deal, because I have no problem giving a guy time, right? I have absolutely no issue giving a guy time if he wants time to make a life-changing decision. But then you didn't need time to decide for Dallas, did you? Like if I'm giving you time because you're a time guy, that's cool, but then I need to see consistency with that. If you're somebody that takes time to make decisions and I give you time and then you decide quickly elsewhere, it's like, ooh, right? It's no different than, we always use the relationship metaphor. It's no different than I want to marry you. And, I don't know. I'm not ready for marriage. I don't know if I'm the marriage type. I want to marry you. I don't know why. And then you break up and 6 months later they're engaged to someone else. It's like, okay, so all that you were telling me was a lie. If you need time to make decisions, you're a time to make decisions guy. You can't then go make a quick decision with someone else and expect me to be cool with it. It's different. Dean in Rocky Mount, you're next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Dean, thank you for calling in. What's your take?
Well, a couple of years ago, there was this viral meme where it said, we're rocking with Mark because Mark is rocking with us. Mm-hmm. And that's how it is here. If you're rocking with us, we're rocking with you. The simple matter of the fact is that Mikko Rantanen was not rocking with us, and I think that's why the turn was so quick. It's like, he's not rocking with us. We're not going to rock with him. Now, Stankoven, hope he rocks with us. The guys we get from those first and third round picks, hope they rock with us. We're going to use this trade, get better. It's like, addition by subtraction. And you said it earlier, this is the ultimate slap in the face. Mm-hmm. Think of any insult, and that's essentially what Mikko Rantanen is saying to the entire state of North Carolina and the state of Colorado. So all I'm going to say is that good riddance.
Good riddance. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Dean. I do think there is, and by the way, the Canes have some of that. They have some of Heat culture, Canes culture. You know what I mean? Not everybody's going to fit into that locker room, and if you're not rocking with it, you're not rocking with it. I do think there are certain players that are worth the trouble, right? Like Jimmy Butler obviously isn't somebody that has been cool in every locker room, but the Heat put up with him for a long time because he was really good. And Rantanen might have some of that. He may have been worth the trouble, but I'm sure there's some relief when somebody that's not having a good time and not buying in bounces. Will in Roanoke Rapids, you are up next on this special Friday sound-off involving the Mikko Rantanen trade here on 99.9 The Fan. Will, thanks for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Just keep it short. The way I look at it with Rantanen, if you add in Natchez, you had two players that weren't going to stick around here. Mm-hmm. And I think the writing was on the wall with Rantanen from the get-go. So I'm not really stressing that part too much.
Okay.
Drury going out and Natchez going out, and then having Hall, and now you get Stankoven, yep, and a couple first and a couple thirds. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad about the situation, honestly. I am mad at the way Rantanen handled it. It was pretty childish, but other than that, I'm happy with what we got.
There you go. And honestly, I think that's the way a lot of people are going to look at this in history. It's going to be, man, that was an annoying 6 weeks, but, the trade's okay. That's how it's kind of going to go down in history. It's just right now, it's too fresh. Wounds too new. Still hurts. Scott and Raleigh following that one up. Scott and Raleigh on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, which is open, by the way, 919-860-5326. We're taking your reactions to Mikko Rantanen heading to Dallas in exchange for the trade is Logan Stankoven, young center, 2 first-round picks, future 2026, 2027 from Dallas, as well as 2 third-round picks in those same drafts. Scott and Raleigh, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling. Please sound off.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much echo the same sentiments as everybody else before me. I would say it's a little weird. We seem to check all the boxes for this guy, right? Like his childhood friends here. We're competitive. We offered to make him the highest-paid winger in the league. He said he's not a big city guy. I would consider this, obviously a small market. It's just very strange how he had, no buy-in from the jump, and then goes to Dallas, a place where he's never played, and agreed for 8 years there. I do want to give a shout-out to Eric Tolsky for swinging the bat. I appreciate him going and doing this. Typically we don't see that in this market here.
Thank you.
Sucks we didn't hold on to him. But I think we may save some money. I think Dallas is going to have egg on their face here. I think he's nothing but a McKinney merchant. and I think Nathan McKinnon made him a lot of money. I'll leave it there. I'll let you guys pick up elsewhere, but I wanted to get that out there. McKinnon Merchant is his new nickname. He's public enemy number 1 here, and I can't wait to boo him when Dallas comes to town next year.
Appreciate the call. There's a saying. It used to be said all the time about like the early and mid 2000s Colts, which is Peyton Manning put my kids through private school, and like coaches would say it, teammates would say it, because playing with Peyton Manning made the offense better, and then those coaches got to go get other jobs because, hey, I was a coach on the 3rd leading offense and and hey, I caught 80 balls last year. I caught 60 balls last year, and it was all because of Peyton Manning. Maybe this is a Nathan McKinnon just put Mikko Rantanen's future kids through private school. Maybe that's the deal. I still think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be a fake radio host here. I can't sit here for 5 weeks and talk about how I think Mikko Rantanen could have been a foundational player for the Canes, and then as soon as he's traded away, go, he wasn't good. Like, I'm not going to flip up on you like that, but history could prove it, right? Could say he's never the player that he was alongside Nathan McKinnon. He wouldn't be the first to benefit from an all-time great setting him up. Back to the call-in lines we go. Isaiah in Wake Forest, you are up next. Feel free to go ahead and vent or gloat or sound off is what we call it, so have fun.
All right. I'm going to try to make this quick, but first I got to say, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of disappointed in the Canes front office. I personally really liked Martin Necas and Jack Jury. I thought they were really good players. Necas was playing a good season so far. I know he hasn't had a great playoff postseason, but I feel like as soon as the Canes traded for Rantanen and they saw, hey, he's like in the Finland newspaper that the guy beforehand mentioned where he was upset about going to Carolina, they should have realized that and been like, hey, he doesn't want to be here, and immediately been like, hey, here's our offer. Take it or leave it. If not, we're going to try to see the most we can get for you instead of waiting to the last possible minute and just scraping out as much value from him as they can get. And, I mean, I feel like after seeing 6-7 games from him, you can see that he's an extremely overrated player. He's not top 10. He looks better because he plays with a top 10 player in the country, and Nathan McKinnon.
Appreciate the call. I'm going to not push back on some of that, but I want to provide more context. So call back in anytime. I'm sure the Canes understood, because we talked about it, right? As soon as he showed up, there was the flu going around the team. Then there was the Four Nations Cup. I'm sure that they like it's moving on exceptionally quick would have felt like you didn't get the real look. You can't. Everyone's talking about, hey, shout out to Eric Tulsky for taking the big swing. You can't check swing a home run swing, right? You have to follow through. You have to risk, fall into one knee and your helmet falling off like your Bartolo Colon. You have to swing hard. You can't. There's no half stepping in this. Trade for Mikko Rantanen and then send him out, or start sending him out 5 days later. I just don't know if that's realistic. Looking back, obviously you'd like it because he didn't end up signing, but going back to 2 callers ago, it does appear as if the Canes have everything Mikko Rantanen would want, right? They offered him a bunch of money. They have his childhood friend on his same line. They have a winning history. He would get to be the guy, right? Which if he's leaving Nathan McKinnon and Makar out there in Colorado, you'd assume part of his goal was to be like the centerpiece. It seemed like the Canes had everything, and I'm sure the Canes thought they had everything. And turns out they did not. Dallas has something else. Who knows what that is? Back to the call-in line. A few more here before the top of the hour. Hunter in Lexington. This is a South Carolina caller. Hunter in Lexington. Appreciate you for calling in. Represent your home state and sound off on the Canes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say first that I was pretty excited when we signed Rantanen because, honestly, that's a huge deal coming from. So was I. I completely agree.
And everyone's going to act like they weren't because now they hate him, but I think most of us were in that same boat.
Yeah, Raleigh, arguably a pretty small market, kind of a growing hockey city. But the way that Rantanen came in and just started playing, obviously it probably had something to do with the emotions of getting traded. He was there for a while, but the effort's just not there. And someone playing like that, I don't want to see him on our team. And, we got Stankoven, who's a stud. 2 firsts and a third that we can eventually flip. Kind of sad we didn't go for Raquel, but that's just the way it goes. I say good riddance. He is probably public enemy number 1 for 2 of the biggest teams in the league right now.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the call, Hunter, and thank you for listening all the way from South Carolina. There's Stankoven is gonna. I don't want to get too. Stankoven's a good piece. I don't want to get too far ahead with Stankoven.
We got to get a nickname for that guy. Is it Stanky?
Yeah, Stank. We got to see how he plays. You got to watch.
Yeah,
you got to watch. You got to see how he plays. How do you feel about this? Let's throw a line together of Jarvis, Stankoven, Blake. Nobody over 175 allowed on the line.
Right.
Just watch opposing defensemen's heads explode as they get worked by the Lollipop Guild. It would be hilarious. That's all I'm saying. It would be hilarious. We'll take one more quickly here before the top of the hour. Aaron in Raleigh, thank you for calling in. You've been on hold for a minute here, so we want you to get on as quickly as you can. Sound off on the Mikko deal.
Well, thank you for having me. Newer listener, as somebody who works in sports, I really appreciate your take.
Thank you.
On things. So, just very quickly, people have really sounded off on kind of my feelings towards Rantanen. I'm going to just sound off on how I feel towards the Canes in this deal.
All right.
And I actually think that we didn't get all we could get in this trade, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, picks are great. But the whole thing with Rantanen, I mean, we traded Natchez, we traded Drury, who didn't want to be here, it sounded like. The thing is with Rantanen, the idea was, okay, we have our future, let's go try and win now. And in the end, when you trade for a 22-year-old who isn't proven, don't get me wrong, he could be great, and you get a bunch of picks, my frustration is, okay, you made a win now move, and now it's like, okay, we could get some great things, and Stankoven could be awesome, but
they aren't right now,
I'm
is
just
what you're getting
concerned
at.
of the playoff run now. Is this just going to be a flash in the pan of? I mean, who knows?
Aaron, I get your point. We're up against it, and I want to give 30 seconds of response here. So thank you for calling in, but we are against top of the hour. Appreciate it. Here's the deal. I'm not 100% sure that we all, myself included, didn't get out ahead of our expectations with the Canes a little bit this year. If you go back to preseason, there was quite a bit of took a step back from the year before, lost Pesci, lost Tavo, lost Brady Shea, like you can go on and on. They were going to take a step back, but eyes towards next offseason, all this cap space, Orlov coming off the books, on and on and on and on. And then something happened. Martin Nate just turned into like Gretzky Lemieux for 15 games. And you won your 14 of your first 18, and everyone got very excited. There is an argument that this year was always, despite, and I again, hand up, I may have contributed to this, despite everybody getting really excited and thinking maybe this year could be better and more accelerated contenderdom than we originally thought. There is something to be said for having a whole bunch of picks, a whole bunch of cap space, and your core in place going into an offseason. And by the way, it's not like you're going to lose this year. You're going to be in the postseason this year. You're not going to win your division. You're making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, probably a big win this year. If it sets you up for a window of 5 years going after cups legitimately, if it does bring in Mitch Marner this offseason, like if those happen, then you're going to look back at this trade and go, this is when we acquired all of the magic beans that turned into our giant beanstalk. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's football at 4 coming up, and we hit football at 4. We're loyal to it. Legal tampering in the NFL opens on Monday, but don't worry, we will come back, evaluate the roster as it is for the Canes, Suns, Mikko Rantanen, and much, much more. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
3-5-1. They have scored 22 goals since the trade. 7 of them came in one game against Utah.
There is that.
4 of them came against the Rangers. You know who didn't play in the 7-goal game? Mikko Rantanen.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 11 goals combined in the other 7 games. They are 1-5-1 in those 7.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain or just struggling with daily activities because of discomfort in your knees, back, or other parts of your body? Well, I've got great news. It's called DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, a solution that can help you get back to feeling like yourself again without the risks of invasive surgery or long-term prescription drug use. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness is a regenerative medicine clinic. Their innovative treatment options address the root cause of your pain to promote healing and prevent re-injury for long-lasting pain relief. If you have arthritis, joint pain, sports injuries, or other conditions, their highly trained medical providers will develop a cutting-edge treatment plan tailored just for you with little to no downtime. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness can get you back to doing the things you love. Call DaVita Med Spa and Wellness today, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313, 984-333-1313, 984-333-1313.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SALE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SALE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SALE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's hockey season, baby. I live and work on both coasts, and here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Variably cloudy skies and a mild afternoon with a high near 60, not far from normal for this time of year. Mid-40s tonight and a nice jump into the low 70s for tomorrow. Beautiful day to be outside. Sunday looks different. We'll see highs in the 50s with cloudy skies and a chance of a shower.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 222 points today to 42,801.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4. Even on days where the Canes shake it up once again with a Mikko Rantanen trade, sending him to Dallas, the NFL calendar does not slow down. We'll come back to the Canes in a little bit. We'll come back to Duke-UNC in a little bit. But 3 days from legal tampering in the NFL, which means on Monday, teams can start talking to free agents from other teams. They can start negotiating deals. They can start legal tampering is an oxymoron. It's not tampering if it's legal, but the essentially the floodgates open. You'll start getting the Schefter, so-and-so has come to terms with, expects to sign with XYZ team starting on Monday. The Panthers, Dan Morgan, that front office, they should learn a little bit from the Kane situation. And what I mean by that is be prepared for any and everything, right? If you would have gone back to the offseason for the Canes and said you are going to trade for Mikko Rantanen 6-7 weeks before the trade deadline, they probably would have been like, no way. But it happened, so they better have had a plan for it. And if you would have went back to when they traded for Mikko Rantanen, if you would have told them you're going to be trading him away before the trade deadline, they would have said no way. But they better have prepared for it. They better have had a plan. So if you're the Panthers, you have until Monday to be ready for all of the expected and unexpected things that might come your way. What that means for me is have your own house in order, right? Make all the decisions, or at least have a great idea of what the decisions are involving the players that are already on your roster. I would love to get news of a J.C. Horn extension before Monday, or news that this offseason will not be a J.C. Horn extension offseason. Like whatever, so you can build the rest of your offseason around it. I believe a lot, like the reason that so much of the NHL trade deadline felt slow and then there was this furious last 3 hours was because so many were waiting for the Mikko Rantanen decision from the Canes. You don't want the Panthers to have to wait on so many of their decisions because they have to wait on what's going on with J.C. Horn. You don't want to put yourself in that holding pattern. J.C. Horn, if he's going to be one of your key guys, one of your cornerstones, if you're going to build around him, get the contract on the books so you know what you're building around. Miles Sanders has a roster bonus coming on. I believe it's the second or third day of the new league year. So you're looking at next Wednesday, Thursday. If you're going to have Miles Sanders on your roster, probably is going to require some kind of restructuring of that contract. And if you're going to release him, make that decision so you can start planning the rest of your running back room, especially with the knowledge that Jonathan Brooks probably won't be available all year. And then the things you don't have to wait for. If somebody is allowed to go out there and seek a trade, or if someone had already been released, you don't have to wait for everybody, right? You don't have to wait for contracts to expire for everybody. If you want to go get DK Metcalf, you can announce that right now, right? If you want to go agree with Seattle on bringing in DK Metcalf, you do not have to wait. If that's your deal, go do it. Evaluate, right? Because that's the other thing. Right, I have your own house in order. Not everything can be decided, right? You can't decide on the small dominoes till the big dominoes fall. You can't decide if you want to pursue somebody like Evan Engram, tight end from Jacksonville that was released yesterday, until maybe you know what's going on with DK Metcalf, or until you know what's going on with Chris Godwin, right? Other pass catchers. They're wide receivers versus a tight end that pretty much plays wide receiver. But my point is evaluate them so if and when you strike out with your number one option, it's not, okay, let's figure out plan B. It's everybody, plan B's in effect. Get so-and-so on the line. We're executing the next deal. I don't think Evan Engram would be a bad player to bring to Carolina if the price is right, which is what I say about everything. If he wants too much, never mind. But that's all. It fits within the puzzle. It fits within the puzzle. So you have a weekend. Guess what? You don't really have a weekend. Hopefully you've been doing this for months. But you have a weekend. You're probably not going to sleep much over the next 2 weeks if you're in the front office of any NFL team. It's actually kind of hilarious. Again, relating it to the Canes news.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a today is I don't know if it's a birthday, the 1 month birthday of my daughter. She was born exactly 1 month ago. So last night, right, what my wife does the feeding, and then you got to keep her upright, let her burp. So I'm up for random 10, 15-minute periods in the middle of the night, checking my phone at 2:30 in the morning, expecting just the drivel of what is normally on Twitter at 2:30 in the morning when nothing is going on, and I'm seeing updates on Dallas and the Canes have an agreement on a trade. It's that crazy. That's what it's going to be for the NFL starting Monday, probably starting Sunday night. And you don't want to be in a midnight negotiation with another team and you're trying to wake up scouts so they can tell you what they think of a player. You want to have all that locked and loaded, ready to go. Evaluate your team now, have it all set, have it all done, over-prepare, over-research, have opinions on guys who you don't think are going to be available. How will they fit? How will they not fit? So when it all comes down, when the idea is brought about, you'll be ready.
Have contingencies.
Have contingencies, and like I don't even know if it's a contingency. Like again, I don't know. Somebody earlier on the caller said I don't think Mikko Rantanen's a top 10 player in the NHL. Cool. What, top 20? Top 25, whatever it is?
Still elite.
Really good player. You can have your evaluation, but like, do you think the Panthers are out there evaluating what top 10, top 20 players are doing in the NFL? Probably not. You're probably like, how would I don't know, A.J. Brown fit on your roster? You're probably not doing that. But if you're talking to Philly about, you know, someone else on the roster and somehow it pops up, they're willing to move on from him for the right price, you better darn sure have your opinions in order, right? It's really, you have to know everything about everyone all the time in the NFL to be an equipped GM. And then once you hear it, you go. Or a perfect example, this might have been a better example, of when Tyreek Hill was traded to the Dolphins, Mike McDaniels tells the story of like the GM calling and going like, hey, do you want Tyreek Hill? And he's like, yes, I already have plays drawn up. Like, oh my, somebody with that, the Chiefs are selling Tyreek Hill. And it's like, yeah, you have to be ready for that because you're not sure. And the Dolphins weren't anybody at that point in time. They weren't some powerhouse. They weren't the new hot team. Mike McDaniels was a quirky new head coach with like a lot of references to hip hop in his social media. That's what he was. Legal tampering opens on Monday. It'll be a fun weekend with Canes, with Duke at UNC, with everything else. But the off-season reality show drama of the NFL kicks into full effect on Monday. You want to be prepared. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will get to more Mikko Rantanen conversation. And actually, I'm going to do this. Okay. We're going to have the anti-Mikko Rantanen conversation coming up. Not like negative about Mikko, about the team that Mikko left behind. We're going to have that conversation. What's the roster look like now? But before we get there, here's Dennis Cox with some info for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Speaking of deadlines, we've had one of those today, but there's a deadline for each and every one of you out there. It's April 6th. April 6th is the deadline for you to enter to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Because the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes, they've all teamed up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter, folks. Again, go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike right there. Custom-built motorcycle, folks. Custom-built motorcycle. It is one of one, and it can be yours. Just got to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Also, think of this beautiful warm weather we got rolling through. I can't wait to get back on the motorcycle tomorrow. I'm about to go get it out of storage tomorrow. Going to go cruising around town. That's for darn sure. By the way, if you win the bike, hit me up. We'll go riding around. Again, caniacsbike.com. Deadline is April 6th. Bike is going to be given away on the ice at the final home game of the year. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
We get to that anti-Rantanen conversation. The team that Rantanen didn't want to play for. That conversation next. Don't go anywhere. The Pack Therapy Podcast is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. Tim Donnelly here, host of The Drive, alongside Wolfpack legend Casey Morsell.
Every episode is your chance to score inside information on the Pack.
We'll set you up for Wolfpack games all season long.
And we break down the ACC competition, what to watch for as we roll towards the tournament madness.
Plus special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
This is what breaking news on WREL sounds like.
A teenager accused of murder in custody tonight.
From the moments that matter.
Let's take a look at those live pictures right now from Sky 5.
When seconds count.
Authorities say they are very concerned for the safety of the public.
When your safety is the priority.
Breaking news right now, a large fire in eastern Wake County. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Watch WREL News. Breaking news coverage you can count on.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Now it's given away. Jarvis, shot and scores! Oh, taking advantage of the miscue with 18.6 left. Seth Jarvis, no mistake. And Carolina takes a 3-2 lead. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I have some really good news for everybody. Some really exciting news for us. 5 o'clock, about 45 minutes, we are expecting to be joined by Eric Tulsky, the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes, on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. So he will be joining us here on the show. He has media availability, press conference-wise, coming up about 15 minutes, and then he'll be joining the show shortly after that. Let's just say this. I've got some questions. I've got some questions.
Hey, easy on the guy. He probably hasn't slept in about 3 weeks.
When you're the main character at a professional top-level league's trade deadline, I'm going to have questions. And by the way, Eric Tulsky, for the most part, every time we've talked to him, has been relatively open and given answers. So I expect nothing different here. I'm sure there's the ups and downs and everything in between, and I look forward to digging into those a bit more. Eric Tulsky, Canes GM, expected to join us here on the show in about 45 minutes. Right now, I want to look at the team that Eric Tulsky has assembled post-deadline. Right, because Mikko Rantanen's not a part of it, but Taylor Hall is. Don't forget about that part of the first trade. It wasn't just Mikko Rantanen coming in. It was Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall. You may not have gotten to keep the full candy bar, but you got the Hershey Kiss, right? You got the side piece that's the wrong word. You get the other guy.
Go on.
The former MVP has appeared to embrace the Canes and is playing well and was about 2 inches away from scoring the go-ahead goal last night if it wasn't taken away on a coach's challenge. You also got Logan Stankoven and a bunch of picks to pair with the guys that you already have on the roster. Now, Dennis, Logan Stankoven.
Yeah.
Give me the down and dirty scouting report on the 5'8" right-hand shot center that has been brought back to the Canes from Dallas.
So Stankoven, like you mentioned, undersized, I guess you can say, probably a similar build to Seth Jarvis. Okay. Seth Jarvis is around that same build, 5'8", 180 pounds. Again, similar type
the Bash
build.
Brothers. All right.
Hey, I'm for it. But here's something that what Stankoven does provide. Again, he's super young. He's 22 years old. He still has one more year left on his rookie-level contract. So he doesn't hit free agency, unrestricted free agency, until the year 2030, that offseason. So the Canes actually still have cost control and his rights all the way through then in terms of restricted free agency and all that. So you brought in a guy that's locked up in terms of term in that regard. Mm-hmm. But here's something to keep in mind when it comes to Stankoven as well, is that if you look at what he did in the AHL last year while splitting time on his rookie deal, split time between both Dallas and in the AHL with the Houston Aeros, he put up more than a point per game in the AHL. Comes in this year, he's playing down in the lineup because that lineup is stacked with guys like, I know some guys are hurt like Tyler Seguin, but Jamie Benn, Rope Hinch, Jason Robertson, some others. He still put up 29 points, basically a point every other game right now. But here's something that he also got last year when playing in Dallas. He played in 20 playoff games last year. Played in 20 playoff games, which I think is actually something that's going to be vital for someone that young that got to a Western Conference final last year and also produced some points in those 20 games last year, which is something that he did. And I think that's something that might be long-term when you actually get into the playoffs. Oh, he actually can do a little bit more than just be a regular season guy. He played 19 playoff games last year, put up 8 points, 3 goals, 5 assists. For a rookie that is undersized and was 21 years old, you like what that potentially could grow and become.
On a team with a lot of other high-usage guys.
Yes.
It's not like they were looking to him saying, hey, we need you to score a bunch. It was mostly like, hey, we need you to be serviceable in your time on the ice. The other thing I'll point out about that is he is young, and the Canes do have a very good reputation as a developmental franchise. Their coaching staff likes to get their hands on players early and help develop them into what the top of their potential. So I would expect him to not show up in Carolina and be what he's going to be 5 years from now. I would expect him to improve, as we've seen so many other young guys do with the Canes.
And some of his advanced numbers, by the way, some stuff that the Canes look at in terms of when he's on the ice, the number of goals scored and like generated scoring chances generated when he's on the ice during 5-on-5 leans towards his side, like in a positive way when he's on the ice, as opposed to on the negative. So some of those things, again, that the Canes really like, numbers-wise, analytic, the advanced stuff, fits in to what the Canes do. Again, he's just an undersized but super skilled.
All right, so here's where we go next. He fits into the lineup somewhere at center, which is important because the Canes have been desperately looking for center depth for quite some time. The other side of this, and I am fascinated by it, is how does it affect the top of the Canes roster? How does it affect Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis and Andrei Svechnikov? And specifically the forwards, right? Because they bring in Mikko Rantanen in a trade, and suddenly everybody in the pecking order, it's a little shaken up, right? You don't bring Mikko Rantanen in to be, some also-ran. You bring him in and you try to set him up for shots. It's funny because one of the main things that were referenced by Mikko Rantanen defenders, and at times myself, is, well, he's still getting high leverage shots, right? His percentage of high leverage opportunities is still high. He hasn't got the puck luck, hasn't scored the goals, but he's in the right position. And now that he's gone, you can say it. Those opportunities are going to go to someone, right? Those opportunities before Mikko got here were going to someone, right? So there's a shift up and then a shift back that is fascinating to me. I tweeted this out. I was only half joking. I wonder if this can't be some kind of, Dennis, you'll appreciate this as the comic book guy, some kind of like dark, ominous origin story for the prime of Sebastian Aho.
Go on.
Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen are pals by all accounts. Mm-hmm. They played in juniors together. They were on Team Finland together. They're obviously both Finnish. There's when Mikko Rantanen showed up, Aho offered him the guest room in his house if he wanted to stay. Like they're pals. His pal just left to take less money per year somewhere else. I'm not saying that Aho and Rantanen are now enemies or that Aho can't separate personal relationships from the business of the game. but it could be like there are no friends in the NHL. There's only those of you that wear the same jersey, wear the same sweater, and are trying to win the cup together, and those that are in your way. And I've been, Sebastian Aho, the more and more I cover this team professionally, right? Because there's a difference between being a fan watching casually and watching every game, looking for every detail and taking notes. The more and more over the last 2 years that I watch this team professionally, I still love the heck out of Sebastian Aho's talent and skill, and I wish he were 15% more, and I'm not saying this like a bunch of jerks like the legend. I wish he were 15% more of jerk, right? I wish they were 15% more angry, 15% more not to be pushed around. And maybe this is where the light bulb goes off, and he goes, you know what? Cold-blooded, cutthroat, ruthless, on a mission. And I still think it's a dramatic piece of writing. Go read the Players Tribune thing that he put out a week or two ago. He wrote that when his buddy was on the team, and he seemed like he was, gung-ho, telling speeches in the like, John Belushi in Animal House. And if you know that reference, appreciate you. And then his friend left. That could be a situation where Sebastian Aho goes, everybody thought we had a 100-point scorer, and they were jacked up about it, and that 100-point scorer bailed. They don't even recognize we've got a 100-point scorer already. He's wearing number 20. That's kind of, and the same thing for Jarvis, the same thing for Svech. Svech is going to hear everybody say, oh, look at this. They traded 6'4", 218-pound Mikko Rantanen for another small guy in Logan Stankoven. Now the Canes are undersized. Svech is not undersized. Right? Like, get ticked off. Be upset. Go show that everything Mikko Rantanen made us believe or made us dream of could have been here the whole time. You just have to go do it, right? Because, like Aho, I can't sit here and say you're a 100-point scorer because that's very much like yes or no. I can go to Hockey Reference. I can look up your stats. You haven't done it yet. I haven't even been a 90-point scorer if I'm not mistaken. 89 points his career high.
Yep.
And obviously this year, not on pace to go be that dude. But, hey, no time like the present to start. I'm looking at this roster. And, by the way, I'm aware that there's a bunch of guys that won't be on it next year. But that core, the Slavins of the world, right? The Sveches, the Jarvises, the Ahos, a few other guys. I like to hope it could be Pyotr Kochetkov because I'm still a fan of his. Like, that core, they're going to be around for the long haul. And one thing that Eric Tulsky and the front office have proven is they're going to be trying to give you what you need to win. They've swung for the fences. And maybe they're now going to swing for like 7 doubles, but they're going to do what they can to give you a chance to win. And looking at the roster, it's not perfect. I don't think it should be perfect right now. This is a year where they're kind of gathering up for an offseason to go for it. But it's good enough to win. I would not be surprised, like shocked jaw on the floor, if they make it to an Eastern Conference Finals. And then you get to the point where you're in the postseason, you're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and anything can happen, right? Then you get a goalie that catches fire, and who knows? This is not a roster that should go with their head down, tail between their legs because Mikko Rantanen didn't want to play for him. And then you get into the fit. And one of the questions I'm going to ask Eric Tulsky when he joins us at 5 o'clock on the phone lines is, did Mikko Rantanen not fit into the system the way you thought he would when you made the trade? Because obviously the production wasn't there, and there's a bunch of context and mitigating factors you could bring up. But the Canes have a system, right? Rod Brindamore plays hockey a certain way, and it is obvious when you have a guy that shows up, immediately embraces it and fits in. I actually think Taylor Hall's that way, right? Taylor Hall is showing up, embracing it. It works. So maybe there is an element of Mikko Rantanen's out. We get a little less talented, a little less skilled, but a little bit better fits, guys that are more bought in, and maybe at this point they go on a little bit of a streak.
So Corey Lavalette, North State Journal, actually posted this earlier today on X. He said, I'm not sure the Hurricanes could have Rantanen walk back into the locker room. Again, this is actually before the trade. I'm not sure the Hurricanes could have Rantanen walk back into the locker room after the last couple days, dodging the media, which he did pregame yesterday. Dodging the media, an indifferent performance last night, all the media noise, it's just all too much. He continued to say, Corey Lavalette saying, I'm not saying Rantanen didn't fit in the room, but players want someone who will go to war with them. Everything that happened in the last 30 hours didn't indicate Rantanen wanted to do that even as a rental.
I'll take it one step further, because I remember having a very similar conversation about Martin Necas in the offseason, where he was in so many trade conversations, and his dad was saying so many things that weren't maybe the most complimentary of the way the Canes were using him. And the trade requests were so over talked about that I was going like, I don't know if this guy can just walk back into the locker room and be like, hey, fellas, ready for practice. Now, obviously he did, and he played great, but in the Mikko Rantanen trade that brought Rantanen to Carolina, who were the two players they sent out? Jack Drury and Martin Necas, who are two players that it was known, whether they did it that time or not, at some point, asked to be out of Carolina, right? Once you say you don't want to be here, no matter how well you're playing, no matter how much you buy in after that, front offices don't forget that sort of thing, right? And
yeah,
if it was obvious Mikko Rantanen wanted out, right? And that was always the question, right? Did he have resting sad face, or was he actually sad being in Carolina? If he made it known that he didn't want to be there, then this front office has very much been a front office. And I know Eric Tulsky took over recently, but if you go back to him being the assistant GM, it's been a front office of, if you don't want to be here, cool, give us some time. Might not be right now, might not be immediately when you request the trade, but we'll file it away, and when we can get value that we feel is fair for you, be gone. And that's what they did with Mikko Rantanen, right? And obviously they couldn't wait that long because there's a trade deadline and his contract was up. But you don't want to be here. They're not going to bully you. Sometimes I think you should. Sometimes I think it's fair to tell the player, hey, contracts work a certain way. We tell you where to be. You be there. But this front office will let you walk if you voice your displeasure, and it does look like that happened, which is an interesting way to run your organization, right? It's very like, I want the guys that want to be here. What the caller say? I rock with Mark because Mark rocks with us. Like, that's one way to run your organization. Now you just got to make it so, your best players rock with you, because you can't just let them all walk. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's the thing. If you look at the Canes, that Aho's bought in. He signed long-term. Jarvis, Svetch, Slavin. These guys are all bought in long-term. Sean Walker signed here for 5 seasons. Shane Gostisbehere came back.
Yep.
He came back. He's like, yeah, we weren't able to work something out after that time I got traded here, but I wanted to come back. And he did. He comes back. You have a lot of guys. Kokaniemi signed long-term. There's a lot of guys who do want to be here. Jordan Stahl's been here for forever. And he's like, yeah, I want to keep playing here. Same with Martinook. These guys, William Carrier signed for 6 years. There's a lot of guys that are bought into this organization. And here's the thing. Not everyone's always going to buy into every place, and that's okay.
It is. Here's the, by the way, and we could make this into a 3-hour show of just dumping on Mikko Rantanen. And it could be fun. And it could be like, get it off our chest, and it's a Friday, and hey, everybody, let's pour one out for Mikko. We could. But at the same time, the reason why it's frustrating, the reason why Mikko Rantanen on the not buying in hurts rather than just like, all right, he doesn't want to be here, leave, is because it doesn't feel like he gave the Canes a chance. Right? And I'm biased. I'll put it hands up in the air. Like, I'm not pretending I am some kind of objective on the outside, don't have a horse in the race person. But I think the Canes are a pretty good place to play. I think they win a gosh darn ton, and they're on the precipice of figuring out the last things they need to do to get to that cup. And I believe they will get there in the next 5 seasons, which Rantanen would have been here if he signed his 8-year deal. I think there's The area is fantastic. I think it's, people always say like it's a growing hockey town or it's a low-key hockey. It's a hockey town. There's a professional sports team in the Triangle. It's you. There's great college, and then that's just a different category to me. But it is a hockey town, and playing with Aho is great. Playing for Rod appears to be from the ones that have done it for any period of time. They don't have many complaints. Like, it doesn't feel like he gave you a chance. And that's the frustrating part. It felt like he was hurt by the trade from Colorado, and I don't care if he was traded to the Monstars. He would have, whichever place was next, he was gonna be mad at. And I don't, that's just like I'm sad for you, Mikko, because you didn't give you might have had something great here. You might have had something great here. Brutal for so many reasons, just the getting your hopes up nature of it. They made a very much win now move, and then 6 weeks later kind of were forced into making a win for the future move, which is going to get your fan base whiplash, right? Like, all right, we're going for it. We're trying to win the cup. It's a wide open East. We just traded for the big scorer. 6 weeks later, well, we just traded the big scorer for a bunch of picks that don't even hit till 2026 and a young player that hopefully can develop into something that we need. That's like coming and going, but it's because Mikko never really gave you the chance. Maybe that's the only path you had.
I think the frustration from the fan perspective that comes in regarding that is that you said Mikko never gave him a chance. Fans were ready to embrace the guy.
100%.
Like, right from the get-go, come here with us. Come hang out with us. Stay here long-term. We'll take you to the art museum, as one of the callers said. Whatever you want to do. But nonetheless, it's the buy-in wasn't fully there. And I think as a Canes team now, you know who your guys are. You know who exactly is going to be skating for you and lacing them up every single day. And you know those guys are going to be bought in. And I think that's something that these guys in the team know. It's like, hey, you know what? Mikko Rantanen probably is the most talented guy that was in this locker room this season. But if he's not bought in, what good is it? Players feel that. They've known
100%.
that too.
And I don't know if it's the best kind of cross-sport analogy, but I keep coming back to Heat culture where, like, before the Heat draft someone or before they trade for someone, they – like get him in a pickup game with Udonis Haslem and then ask or they get him in a pickup game with Dwayne Wade or Shane Battier, like somebody that's been in the cut, and they go like, is he one of us? And it doesn't matter how many points they scored or where they're projected to be drafted. If they don't get an affirmative on that question, it's very unlikely that they bring that player in. You wonder if the Canes don't have to start operating that way. Is he one of us? Because and I'm not putting the two in the same boat, and I don't think that the whole Gensel didn't want you, now Mikko doesn't want you, so nobody's ever going to want you. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think athletes in the future can make decisions for themselves independently of what did somebody else think. But it's like Gensel had success here, scored a bunch of goals, was a point-per-game player in the regular season and nearly that in the postseason. And for whatever reason, and I think there was some mistakes on the Canes side, he doesn't end up staying here. Then there's Mikko Rantanen who shows up and doesn't produce like you'd hope. Far from a point-per-game player, and he doesn't either. It's there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just they may not have been Canes culture guys. And it might not be a skill set thing. It might not be, do you fill the left winger need that we need? It might be more of a personality thing, right? And last point I'll make on it, and then we'll move on. And I do want to get to talking about Duke at UNC a little bit here. There's how do I put this? It's obvious the Canes do not value size as much as some teams. They are more comfortable drafting skinny guys, more comfortable drafting short guys, and putting them and giving them real minutes.
Smaller guys, highly skilled.
Smaller guys, highly skilled. I also think there is something chippy, tough about the 167-pound guy that makes it to the NHL, right? There's some, like, you've been playing, with the quote-unquote big guys your entire life, and you've found a way to be successful, there's something about that screams Canes. And there's something, and I don't want to, make this bigger than it is, because if there's somebody that's 6'4", 220 and wants to come play for the Canes, I encourage it. But there is also something about the guy that was always the biggest, always the strongest, always the most talented, and just kind of got through it all, right? And then is drafted to the team with Nathan McKinnon, and he's getting all of these goals on a silver platter, and he's just popping them into the back of the net and getting adulation. That is very un-Canes, right? It's like, I don't know. It feels like the Canes have to struggle a little bit more to get what they want. and then through that struggle, you become the Canes player, right? And I'm probably romanticizing the struggle a little bit here. I'm overdoing it with the pageantry. But, maybe Stankoven. I mean, the guy's name is Stankoven. Maybe Stankoven is more of a gritty grinder. Maybe. And maybe they're going to draft a bunch of guys that are 6'5" with silver spoons in their mouth at birth, and I'm going to be completely out here. But it just, if it's easy for you, it's almost like you don't fit in, which is a really weird way to think about it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We may get to some real bold predictions. I definitely want to get to Duke at UNC, and we're going to do that coming up next right here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why? It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
You have 3 ex-wives, and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
As Lubin has it high post, handoff Picadeau, lobs it back to Lubin. What a violent finish on a beautiful play.
This hour of the drive brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com. Again, enbridgegas.com.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. There's a little basketball game tomorrow. Duke at Carolina. I'm going to let you in on one of my guilty pleasures. I'm not talking about guilty pleasures like, hey, when I'm in the car, I like to sing Backstreet Boys. I'm not talking about guilty pleasures in that way. But Dennis, in sports media, there are a few conversations that people they kind of look down on, right? If right now in the middle of Duke-UNC and the Mikko Rantanen news and the NFL legal tampering opening up on Monday, if you and I wanted to sit here and debate Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, there would be some out there going like, really, you're leaning a little hacky, right?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Leaning in.
It's very hacky.
Leaning. If in the middle of July you want to talk about fixing baseball and fixing the ratings, it's like, all right, yep, we've been there. We've done that. Everybody's had a chance. There's one specific kind of like overdone sports media conversation that I love. And Dennis, I know it grinds your gears, but I'm going to indulge my guilty pleasure anyway. I love legacy talk.
Bruh.
I love it. I love looking at a game and thinking, if so-and-so has a massive game, how does that change their legacy? Or if they win this, how does history look at them differently? You may say it's a little hacky. I say Duke has a lot of legacy on the line this weekend at UNC. A lot of legacy on the line. Right now, okay, and by the way, the team has legacy. We talked about it. Could go down as the team in history with the most regular season ACC conference wins since they expanded to 20 regular season conference games. No team has won more than 17. They could win 19 with their only loss against Clemson. Also worth mentioning that both Clemson and Louisville could finish with 18. So they're nipping on their heels. But it would be the best regular season win total in ACC regular season history. But also, there is a jockeying for top dog status for coaching hierarchy in the ACC right now. A lot of vacancies, right? When you and I'm not the first to say it, but when you look at the coaches that have left the ACC in the last 5 to 7 years, it's not like these are a bunch of nobodies. These are all-time greats. It's Coach K, it's Roy Williams, it's Jim Boeheim, it's Jim Larinaga, Leonard Hamilton's on the way out. It's Tony Bennett surprisingly bouncing. Like these are legends, national championship winning coaches in most cases. All of them are gone. There is not a single active ACC coach with a national championship on their resume. There's only 2 coaches with ACC regular season titles on their resume. It's John Shire and it's Hubert Davis. Kevin Keats has a tournament win from last year, and then there's not much else going on there as far as guys that have legitimate success of big varieties on their resume. Shire should want the throne. He should. Competitive people want to be known as the best. Shire's not that old. Thank goodness he's like a year older than me, or else, you start having the thing where it's like, wait a second, how did he get there? And we've had the same amount of time on Earth. So he's 1 year ahead. So of course, in the next year, I'm going to be the equivalent of head coach at Duke. He also got there 2 years ago, but we don't have to go down open that can of worms. He should want to be the top dog in the ACC. And if he gets the throne right now, he might hold it for 40 years. Right? Like that's the legacy that he could be building. Hubert Davis right now has the Final Four over him. And they're essentially, 2-3, 3-2 when they face off against each other. I think actually Shire's up 3-2. But he can put some distance there. He can continue to grow. So you should want that legacy. Cooper Flagg. There's a legacy game here. Right now, Cooper Flagg, According to Ken Pomeroy, he's a math whiz that looks at specifically college basketball. You've heard of the Ken Pom rankings. He has something called Player of the Year rating that he's been putting together since the 2010-2011 season. Right now, if the season ended, Cooper Flagg would have the highest Ken Pom Player of the Year rating in that measure's existence. Number one. Which mean, and by the way, no, he's not like the freshman with the highest scoring average, or he's not the best highlight film. That's probably Zion from back in the day. There's other stuff that other people have done, but in a measure of complete impact, you could argue he's having the greatest ACC freshman season in history. That's not me talking, right? We all have the players that we grew up that we love that'll never be passed, but that's the numbers talking. There is legacy on the line in this one. Not to mention, everyone that goes to UNC, everyone that goes to Duke, part of your legacy is how you play in these games. Tyler Hansborough, he's on all the podcasts, has his own podcast. He loves to bring up that there's an entire generation of Duke players that never beat UNC in Cameron, because he was the one going in there and ruining senior nights. Right? I believe he won on J.J. Redick's senior night in Cameron. Like, that sort of deal sticks with you for your career, for your life. Tyler Hansborough's, mostly playing pickleball now rather than basketball. I follow him on social media, so I know this. And he's still referencing that stat. And he should. Right? To the winner goes the spoils. The winners get to write history. So let's put it in that case. Duke's going up against R.J. Davis on his senior night. R.J. Davis, for all of the ups and downs of this year, his UNC career is pretty cemented. ACC Player of the Year, Jerry West Award winner. He's going down as one of the top scorers in ACC history in the all-time ranks. Did he have an extra year to do it? Yeah, because of COVID. But there won't be an asterisk. 20 years from now, when they look up the rankings, he'll be right up there with Redick and Hansborough and the best of the best. And on his senior night, Duke's going to UNC. If they want to ruin it, they can. Got to play well. There's legacies on the line. And then the X's and O's of it all, the lineup versatility. I mean, that has been your ACC confidence for Duke for how many consecutive weeks? Lineup versatility.
November.
And what
since then,
what it does is it makes it so whatever is your bad matchup, they are. Right? UNC doesn't handle size well. All right, cool. That means you're going to get a healthy dose of everyone on the floor is 6'6" or taller for Duke. If you play a team where shooting is like guarding the three-point line is a problem, all right, cool. You're going to get Isaiah Evans off the bench. You're going to get Mason Gillis off the bench. You're going to get Con Knipple, Cooper Flagg, and you're going to get 4 shooters around 1 big. Good luck. All right, pace is your issue. They can get up and down. They can score 110. We've seen it.
They've played faster. They've been playing faster and still giving up the same amount of points.
And exactly. And they also could, if it's like, oh, you know what? We need to get up and down. UNC likes to get up and down. Mm-hmm. Duke could turn it into a grind. They can win 60-55 if they need to. We've seen it.
So you want to run? Okay, we'll run faster.
It's
you want to play half court? We'll do it better.
And Shire, again, getting back to him, he's not afraid to throw you curveballs. One of my favorite, just anecdotes, okay? And in case you can't tell, I like to think I have a pretty good memory, and there are certain little moments that I reference for years and years and years to come. There's one from this college basketball season, and it's when Duke, early in the season, had some young guys, and they weren't quite the wrecking ball that they are now. They weren't up by so many points in every game like they have been the last 4, and they needed a change-up in game. And John Shire went to the 2-3 zone, which I love for its simplicity, right? To think of, you have all these high IQ, right? Duke has the stereotype of the brainiacs, right? You have Duke basketball, and they go to the same defense that they play in 9-year-old basketball when you run out of players because too many fouled out, right? You're just like, 2-3 zone. Stand there, hands up at your side, active in the passing lanes. And they went to the 2-3 zone. And then after the game, it was revealed they never practiced it. John Shire looked at Cooper Flagg at the postgame podium and went, "Have you ever played the 2-3?" And he was like, "Not really." But just because they understood they needed a changeup, they threw a changeup. And it worked. And they won the game, and they went on, and now they have another curveball, another club in their bag for the golfers. And that lineup versatility is what made it all possible. And by the way, if they played a bad 2-3 zone, worst case scenario, you have 7-2 Kaman Malawash standing under the bucket. And it's like, oh, they penetrated the zone. Yeah, all right, now the ball spiked two rows into the stands. It's a very difficult team to game plan for because you kind of just point out your weakness and go, how would you exploit it? That's what they're going to do. That's how you self-scout. And if it feels like I'm being too hyperbolic, watch the games. Watch their last 5 and watch with a notepad in front of you and write down what you see. And then at the end of the game, you're going to look down at your notepad and you're going to go, he really wasn't being hyperbolic. Does that mean they can't play bad this weekend? No, they absolutely can. They're, for the most part, 19, 18 to 22-year-olds. And that's always unpredictable, and they can always wake up on the wrong side of the bed. But if you tell me Duke plays their A game, I think they got double-figure win on this one. Maybe 20. If they play their A game, I'm not sure there's a team in the country I don't think they beat by 8. If they play their A game, which is a big if. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are expecting early in the next hour to hear from Eric Tulsky, the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes, following what can only be described as a whirlwind 6-week courtship/ending of their relationship with Mikko Rantanen. And there's a lot of details we want to get to. So we'll call it the starting 5. We'll call it Eric Tulsky joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline coming up next. Stick around.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Kevin Keats and state basketball have to do something, and I'll tell you what that is. They have to acknowledge what is happening. This season, it's a failure. That's not to say each individual player isn't working harder. There's no likable people in the program. It's just that after last season, this season, it's not enough. And you have to figure out how to fix it for next season.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky, invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WREL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Lots of clouds around today, and that really kept the temperature down in the 50s most of the afternoon. Overnight tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies. It's chilly with lows in the mid-40s. And then mostly sunny to partly cloudy Saturday. It will be breezy and warmer with a high of 73.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 222 points to 42,801.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It has been a whirlwind day for those of us that cover the Carolina Hurricanes. Mikko Rantanen, for those of you just getting off work and crawling out of that fog heading towards the weekend, Mikko Rantanen traded from the Carolina Hurricanes to Dallas in exchange for Logan Stankoven, a young center, as well as two future first-round picks and two future third-round picks from Dallas. And we have the good fortune of welcoming onto the show on the Heister Automotive Group hotline the architect of the trade deadline moves for the Carolina Hurricanes. It's Eric Tulsky, the Canes GM, who, I said it's a whirlwind couple of days for us and much more so for Eric. Eric, thank you very much for taking the time to jump on the show with us here just a couple hours past the trade deadline. Before we get to the move to send Mikko Rantanen to Dallas, how close did you come to an extension with Mikko Rantanen? Did you feel like you made progress, or take us through that a little bit if you can?
No, I mean, ultimately, this was not a case where we were arguing about money. We had plenty of cap space, and we were willing to pay what it took to keep him. The issue was about him feeling like this was the right fit for him. And, at the risk of putting words in his mouth, my sense was this just didn't feel like home. We have a great organization and a great locker room and a great coaching staff and a great team. But for whatever reason, it just didn't feel like home to him. And that's a personal thing, and it's okay. And he didn't want to make an 8-year commitment to live someplace that didn't feel right.
When did you kind of cross the threshold where you got that vibe enough that you decided – you should move Rantanen before the trade deadline to get something back?
Yeah, so we gave as much time as we could for him to get to know the area and get to know the team, and get to know the city, and see if he would fall in love. And I would say about a week before the deadline, it was getting close enough that I needed to start figuring out what we would do if he wasn't ready to sign yet.
And we're talking with Eric Tulsky, Canes GM, here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. So a week ago, you kind of crossed the threshold of waiting and time to make moves. Was the goal a type of return that you got? Obviously, a whole bunch of picks and a young player. Did you set out for more win-now players? Was it always kind of making this move towards building your treasure trove of assets?
So we looked at a lot of different things. Different teams had different assets available to offer, and we didn't want any team to feel like we had one specific need and they didn't have it, so they shouldn't bother trying to get involved. Ultimately, when you're trading away a really good player, that's taking something off your team. We wanted to bring something back if we could that would keep the team, that would help the team right now and try and keep the team as good as we can today, but also help keep moving the team forwards in the future. And so bringing in a really dynamic young player in Logan, who we think will get better and better over time from his young age, as well as draft picks that can be used in a variety of ways to help the team. We think that provides us the opportunity to stay good now and keep building for the future and try to get to a level that we haven't gotten to.
We have kind of the outsider's view of Logan Stankoven, right? Seeing Dallas occasionally. What about him makes him somebody that you valued in the return, or where does he fit into your roster construction?
Yeah, I mean, he is just a perfect Hurricanes player in many ways. You know, he is such an aggressive player with and without the puck. He's really good at getting in on the forecheck. He's the first person in a lot of the time. He gets there quickly. He gets there hard. He shows up ready to make things difficult for the opponent, and he competes all over the ice. And he just plays the way Hurricanes want to play.
Eric Tulsky, the Canes GM, on trade deadline day, just almost 2 hours exactly after the trade deadline, joining us here on 99.9 The Fan. You now have a treasure trove of picks, right? You bring in the 2 firsts, the 2 thirds. You already had a nice little stockpile. Did you have time, kind of post Mikko Rantanen trade, to shop them a little bit? Was there any potential move there?
A little bit. The timing ended up tricky because we did not have very much cap space while Mikko was on the roster, and so we were limited in what we could do until that trade closed. And that was held up because the trade couldn't close until he got his contract done with his new team. And that didn't leave us a lot of time at the end of the day to try and get our deals done. It's a little unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. We still, we went looking. We were aggressive in pursuing a couple of players. Ultimately, things went a different way, and we ended up with the roster that we have today.
I love the aggression. I love the move, and I've said that publicly, so I'm not like blowing smoke here. But 2 consecutive years, there's the big swing. There's Jake Guentzel, then Mikko Rantanen, and neither ends up signing the long-term extension that so many fans wanted. Does that make you shy from making a similar move for somebody on an expiring deal in the future, or is it those two don't affect your decision making moving forward?
No. So organizationally, our philosophy is to try and be aggressive, and you see that on the ice with the way we pressure, and you see that off the ice with our attempts to take every chance we can to make the team better. And if you only make moves when you're absolutely sure it's 100% guaranteed to work out, you miss out on a lot of chances to make the team better. And if you make moves when you think it's 70 or 80% to work out, I mean, some of them will go wrong, and that's not the end of the world. You need enough of them to move you forward that you keep making progress, and you need to be willing to take those swings. It's hard to get players like this without taking some risk. Ultimately, I think these 2 players, they're related because they were both mid-season acquisitions of players on expiring contracts, but the situations were very, very different. Jake Guentzel last year came in, and I hate to put words in his mouth, but from where I was sitting, it looked to me like he felt like it was a fit. When it got time to talk about an extension, he seemed like he was ready. The issue last year was we didn't have any cap space, and we had to be very, very careful about what we could offer because we had some big contracts coming up where we didn't know what the number was going to be. And we needed to know more about what our budget was before we could really get into the details. And ultimately, that ended up making it hard to get the deal done, unfortunately. But I don't think it was ever that he didn't want to be here. It was just that we were financially constrained. On Mikko this year, we had all the money in the world, and we were willing to pay him, everything he got and more. The issue was just this didn't feel like home to him. And, that's a personal thing. We're asking a player to make an 8-year commitment. And no matter what he thinks of the team, the coach, the the vibe, whatever, if it doesn't feel like home, like that might not be right for him. And that's okay, right? I would never expect somebody to feel like they needed to sign on and play for some place that didn't feel right.
I'm just gonna we've talked with you a few times, and it always seems like you're big picture and you're kind of seeing the whole field, I call it. I just heard you say we have all the money in the world. I referenced the stockpile of picks. As a GM, right? The trade deadline is passed, so this year it's taken care of. This offseason upcoming, with all of the money in the world and a stockpile of picks, are you already planning how much of a bonanza it could be to improve this roster?
Yeah, I mean, we are always trying to position ourselves to where we can keep taking steps forwards. Right? When the team gets to where we're winning cup after cup after cup, maybe we'll be content to just stay where we are. But until then, we've got to keep getting better. And we haven't gotten where we want to go yet. And so building up that reserve of cap space to pounce on any opportunities that come along, building up a reserve of draft picks to make trades if you need to, or to use the draft picks to bring in young players who keep helping make your team better. Like, these are important steps in allowing you to keep taking those steps forward as an organization.
Eric Tulsky, Canes GM, connecting with us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Eric, I'm a former athlete, so I call it watching the film, right? Whether you like what happened or didn't like what happened, you can always learn something from it. So looking back at the original Mikko Rantanen trade that brought him to Carolina, did he not fit into the system the way maybe you thought he would? Because you look at it, ends up being a 13-game section, and he scores 2 goals, and obviously Mikko Rantanen's reputation would say more production than that should have occurred.
Yeah, so I actually think that was just one of those things that happened. I've watched the video a bunch of times of all of his scoring chances, and he had a ton of chances off his own stick, and probably even more chances off his passes. His ability to thread pucks through sticks and through skates at the net front and create opportunities for other players was one of the best in the league, I think. And he created a ton of those chances while he was here. They just didn't happen to go in. And I don't think that's anything about the system. I'm sure our system is not to try to hit the post when you're open in the slot. But it happens sometimes, right? People go cold. And it's unfortunate that he happened to have a cold stretch for the brief period of time that he was here. But I think that colored a lot of people's perception of how well he fit.
I'm seeing a lot of fans and media members kind of combine the two deals and almost remove Mikko from the action and have it end up with you traded Natchez, Drury, a second, third, and fourth, and you brought back Taylor Hall, who we haven't mentioned yet, and I hope to ask about, Stankoven, 2 firsts and 2 thirds. Do you kind of look at it that way? And if so, how do you feel about that give and return breakdown?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a reasonable way to look at it. Obviously, you have to make the second decision on its own merits without thinking about what is already water under the bridge from the first one. But I do think in the end, when you look back at them combined, we did pretty well. The other thing I think people don't think about when you do that, where you just delete the middle part, is that there was some value in that shot you took at getting Mikko signed long-term. And yes, we happened to end up in a case where he didn't want to extend, but if you knew going in that when he didn't extend, you would end up with a pool of assets that, I don't know, let's say they're 90% as valuable as what you started with. So the cases where he doesn't extend, you lost a little value. But all the times that he does extend, you gained a whole bunch because you got this great player. And so it still could be worth it, even knowing that when it didn't work out, you lost a little. In this case, I think we're even better off than that because I think it's pretty easy to look at the whole thing and find reasons to believe that we've actually gotten better through this whole process. I know that's hard to know for sure until we see how everything plays out and how Logan develops and what these draft picks turn into. But right now, today, I feel pretty comfortable with where we are.
And one more of kind of the unknowns is How long does Taylor Hall commit to being a Cane? Where are you with the possible extension talks for the former MVP?
Yeah, so we've had some conversations with his agent. I believe he is happy here. I believe we are happy with him. As always, getting a deal done requires some agreement on what the numbers should look like. But I think we've had positive progress. I think it's been a good fit, and we're continuing to work towards it.
Eric Tulsky, Canes GM. Eric, before we let you go, one more here, and thank you for taking the time. I'm sure you deserve a well-earned rest and probably a meal and some drink and everything else following a hectic trade deadline. But the acquisitions aren't technically done because the Canes still have a prospect in Alexander Nikishin that might be added to the roster. When do you expect the delivery of the much ballyhooed Russian defender, and kind of what do you think he can bring to your lineup if he does make the move?
Yep. So his contract runs through the end of May. He can't sign a contract with us until his contract there ends. He can ask his team to terminate his contract once their season ends, and they can choose to do that. And often they will, because once their season is over, they have no reason to hold on to his rights anymore. So maybe it starts earlier once his season ends. Maybe he has to wait until May 31st, depending how that goes. And then once he is done with his contract there, he can sign with us, and then we can go through the logistical challenges of getting the proper visas to bring someone from Russia over to the United States. And once that's done, he can get on the ice with us.
Eric, thank you very much for taking the time to join us, and hopefully we're able to catch up again soon as the season progresses.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a good time.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Eric Tulsky, Canes GM, joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Does that mean I didn't grill him hard enough? If the GM after a trade deadline is leaving saying he had a good time, I don't know. I think I asked the right questions there. Maybe I should have been a little tougher. No, I'm kidding. I'm glad that he had a good time, and I'm glad that he gave us the insight. Right, that is a true roller coaster of a last couple of weeks for the Carolina Hurricanes, and man, we need to develop a code system with Tulsky.
Yeah, okay.
He decided a week ago that it was necessary to move Mikko Rantanen. Just tug on your ear when you're like up in the booth they show you on the Jumbotron and you're on the computer. Just scratch your ear or something if it means like, yep, it's happening. Could have saved us a lot of debate back and forth if we knew it was already in motion a week ago.
It was pretty interesting hearing him say, yeah, we got a feeling basically that Mikko didn't feel at home here.
Yep.
Wasn't a money thing.
Yep.
Wasn't a money thing.
And I don't want to put too much into it, and you can go back. I assume that interview will be up on our YouTube as quickly as we can get it up there. So as soon as the show is over, feel free to go back and double check all of that. But did you just and obviously it's now your guy versus a guy you just traded away. But did you just hear the wording that was different about Mikko Rantanen and then Logan Stankoven? Right, Mikko Rantanen, he acknowledged skilled. He called him this great player. Right, he wasn't negative about the player that Mikko Rantanen is, but it was this place isn't home to him, and that's okay. And right, he was looking for something else. I forget the exact wording on some of that. Then he got to Stankoven, and he's like, this guy plays the way you want a Cane to play. This guy is aggressive. He shows up every day. And it was.
He said competes.
He competes.
I love that.
It's what we talked about earlier, right? Every team will take a bet on skill. Every team will take a bet on talent. But there are personalities that come with each program as well, and there are identities, and every player doesn't have to fit it perfectly, right? You don't want every player bashing their head against the wall all the time. But it does seem to be the head bashers just have a little bit more success with the Carolina Hurricanes, and they stick around a little bit longer. But that was, I was fascinated by a lot of those answers from Tulsky. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. We'll have that replay during Overdrive at 6 o'clock. We'll have that for you guys as well. So we'll have Overdrive right at 6 o'clock. If you missed any of the interview, want to listen to it again, 6 o'clock and during Overdrive, we'll have it right here for you.
do you know what actually was like oh man, there's the regret right there, and it's nothing the Canes could have done differently? I wish Dallas and Rantanen could have agreed on their contract terms a little bit quicker.
Yep.
So then Tulsky had just a little bit more time to go shop some of those picks before the trade deadline. Because if you're Tulsky, you're just sitting, I don't want to say sitting twiddling your thumbs, but that you're not a part of those contract negotiations. You're not there as the mediator going come on, 8 years, $12 million per. Let's get it done. Let's get it signed. I got to go shop these seconds to somewhere else. You kind of got to let them handle it. But I just wonder what would have happened if that contract, right? The first time we heard of it getting close was, at least the first time I heard of it, was when I was awake with my newborn daughter at 3 a.m. If they would have agreed upon by 8 a.m., then Tulsky would have had a full day to shop those picks, get out there, see what he can bring back, and who knows? Maybe there's, a stud center out there that could have been brought in, or another high-scoring winger, or something else that he could have done. But the way that the timing worked out with Dallas, he never really got that opportunity, which kind of bummer, right? Now the roster they have, like I said earlier, I still think they can go make some noise in the postseason, right? They have to get hot at the right time, need their goaltenders to catch fire, but they can still do some things. And then this offseason becomes the spend Olympics for the Carolina Hurricanes. Because, and I was talking with Adam Gold during the transfer here, and we may not get back to the starting five, but we will grab some contestants for the numbers game in a second. I was talking with Adam Gold during the crossover here, right? We're in the same studio, so we get 4 minutes to quickly throw takes at each other before he leaves and I take over. Now having both this treasure trove of picks, right? What is it? 5 first-rounders in the next 3 drafts, and a whole mess of thirds.
So, by the way, it's actually a 2026 first and a 2028 first. That's what the team announced.
26th and 28th.
26 and 28.
Okay, so a treasure trove of picks. I won't try to break it down by draft. Just say in the future, and a boatload of cap space that's only going to grow with the expected, Orlov, Anderson, Burns coming off the book deals. Even if this free agency class doesn't have what you're looking for, you can now work around that with the picks, right? Let's say you want a stud, maybe a 1 center, and there's none in the free agency market. Well, now you take the picks, you go trade for the 1 center, and then you have the cap space to either adopt whatever, or, just include whatever contract they're on, or you have the cap space to then go sign the extension that you negotiate during the deal. So you kind of can they have a lot of tools to do what they want to do this offseason. And I don't want to ignore the season between now and then. There's still a lot of hockey to be played this year. But, as a GM, part of you has to just be going, "Hoo boy, I get to, the offseason is the season for me," and they're going to have a really fun one this upcoming offseason with really good, we've talked about how team-friendly and awesome the Slavin deal already is. Some national reporters saying that if Slavin hit the market after the Four Nations Cup, would be hitting $10 million a year. He's 6.2, 6.4, whatever that is per year. The Jarvis deal is only going to look more and more team-friendly. The Svetch deal the Aho deal only going to look more and more team-friendly. So you get to build around that. It's going to be a really exciting offseason.
By the way, there was another deal made today involving the Carolina Hurricanes. One we did not know of.
I was going to say, if you could see my face on YouTube right now, I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
So I wish we would have known this. We would have asked Mr. Tulsky about it. Canes acquire Mark Jankowski for a 5th-round pick from the Nashville Predators.
Mark?
He's in his played in 41 games this year, has 4 goals, 5 assists, former first-round pick of the Calgary Flames. Big guy, 6'4", 212.
All right. Oh, come on. Now, Tulsky, right? We had,
right. As soon as we get him off the air.
We had so much fun. You couldn't break us off something there?
And he's a center. That's the thing as well. So he actually provides some depth down the middle. This is actually what Tulsky said in the quote from the press release that just came through from the Canes. Mark adds size and depth to our team down the middle. His addition gives our coaches more lineup flexibility for the stretch run and the playoffs. Again, 6'4", 212.
6'4", 212.
Perfect, like fourth line center. Our guy Mike is probably stoked about this.
Is that okay? See, I don't know much about Jankowski. I just brought up his stats page, right? He's got 9 points in 41 games this year. Is this the one that is he going to be the you want a shot at the belt guy? Is this the guy? Is this the guy? Because I do think, and by the way, Kotkaniemi's done a great job with it. Svech, handled his business, but there has been a little bit of a gap with that role. I get it now. I get it now.
But yeah, just it's size down the middle. He's perfect. He's a fourth line guy, but again, size.
All right,
that's
cool.
the big thing that matters.
Mark Jankowski. Tulski, next time, feel free to cut me off when I'm asking these questions. And go,
right.
oh, by the way, we made a deal that no one knows about, and give us the details. Mark Jankowski. He'll fill the Mikko Rantanen role. Sarcasm. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9, The Fan.
He'll probably score at the same rate. No.
Oh, ooh.
There's no joke.
No. You think he can score twice in 13 games?
He might.
And he's no Jack Roslovic when it comes to scoring, I'll tell you that much. He might be a Mikko Rantanen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's go ahead and grab some numbers game contestants, shall we? What do we have today? Lumineers tickets, correct? Yes. A pair of tickets to see the Lumineers at Coastal Credit Union Music Park this September. This is a good, solid concert. If you want to go, you have to win the numbers game. If you want to win the numbers game, you have to call in now. We need 2 contestants, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Not only more Mikko Rantanen talk, not only more Duke-UNC. The numbers game coming up next.
Listen for the...
Oh, my goodness!
Check in for the...
Beautiful back cut and a two-hand jam.
Don't miss the...
Race to the other end. Get ready for the show!
What was that?
A reverse pull-up! My goodness! Hubbard got hit, and he made the shot!
You're home for the Final Four from San Antonio.
Cooper got it to rattle home!
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Shamrock. Everybody's Irish at Hibernian Pub's St. Patrick's Day celebrations. This year, there's double the Irish with 2 parties.
Come out for a wee drum.
Saturday, March 15th, Hibernian takes over Glenwood South from noon till 9 with live music, Irish dancers, bagpipers, and great food and drinks to celebrate all day. Then Monday, March 17th, there's a live DJ party on North Street next to Hibernian Pub on Glenwood from noon to 9. Get details at hibernianpub.com.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people this all the time. If I am doing a commercial for somebody, I am vouching for who they are and what they do. You guys do great work, but your customer service stands above all the great work that you do.
Adam, I truly appreciate that testimonial. And yeah, we try to take pride in our customer service and meet and exceed our homeowners' expectations on all their home improvement needs. Obviously, there's many companies out there that do what we do. If you Google home improvements, Raleigh, you're going to get many, many companies. But you're not going to find too many companies out there that have a 4.9 rating and over 800 Google reviews and over 7,000 Guild quality reviews. It takes a lot of work on our part to make sure we meet and exceed all your expectations on customer service. And we're going to continue to do so because that's why we've been in business since 1961.
I have used the aluminum company. I have not heard anyone that had anything but incredible things to say about all of you, and that is amazing. That's a testimony to how you guys do it. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. As always, oh, by the way, the prize for today, Lumineers tickets coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park this September. One of either Jaden and Carey or Evan in Fuquay Arena will win the tickets. To decide who goes first, we ask a question. Dennis picks his favorite answer. That person gets to go first. Jaden and Carey, are you ready to answer?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jaden. The question is, it is a Friday. We are looking forward to the weekend. What is the highlight of your upcoming weekend that you're looking forward to most? But, as always, we're a sports show, so keep it sports related.
Playing a basketball game.
Playing
with
a
my friends.
All right, basketball game with friends. Dennis, any follow-up questions?
Nope.
All right. We move on to Evan in Fuquay Arena. Evan, what are you most looking forward to about the weekend? But as always, we're a sports show, so keep it sports related.
I feel like I'm kind of obligated to say Duke and Carolina. That's all I can think about.
All right. You know what? If it's all you can think about, you're probably looking forward to it. Evan, actually, Dennis. That's who I should be asking. I was about to ask Evan, what's your favorite answer? Dennis, what favorite answer gets to go first?
This is actually a tough one. They both involve basketball. We are the Hoop State. Jaden getting active, playing with friends. But, I mean, all our eyes are going to be on Duke Carolina this weekend from a national standpoint. So I'm probably going to go Duke Carolina and go with Evan on this one.
All right. Duke at UNC gets to go first. But don't worry, Jaden, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a minute. Evan, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. The categories you get to choose from are NFL, Panthers greats, NFL Take a P. These are all players whose first name starts with the letter P. NBA All-Hyphen Team, players with a hyphen somewhere in their name. And NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's do NFL for the Panthers.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Even though we know the team in this category, I will still say it for timing purposes. Keep it fair. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Luke Kuechly, Carolina Panthers.
59.
Correct. Thomas Davis, Carolina Panthers.
28.
Incorrect. Mike Minter, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Deshaun Foster, Carolina Panthers.
48.
Incorrect. Thomas Davis, Carolina Panthers.
32.
Incorrect. Mike Minter, Carolina Panthers.
47.
Incorrect. Deshaun Foster, Carolina Panthers.
26.
Incorrect. Thomas Davis, Carolina Panthers.
24.
Incorrect. Mike Minter, Carolina Panthers.
Oh, man.
You did get Luke Kuechly, which, if you're going to be honest, to avoid a little ribbing from your friends, Luke Kuechly's the one to get. So you got 59 for Kuechly. Davis, number 58, right next to each other in the linebackers. It was kind of a thing. Mike Minter, number 30, and Deshaun Foster, number 20. Those were the answers we were looking for. You did get one. You avoided the shutout. We'll see if it holds up. Go ahead and stay on the line, all right?
All right.
That brings us to Jaden and Carey. Jaden, are you ready to play the numbers game?
Yes.
All right. The categories to choose from are NFL players whose first name starts with the letter P, NBA All-Hyphen Team, players with hyphens in their name somewhere, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Hurricanes only.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. See, if I knew you guys would have picked these categories, I wouldn't have had to say the team because then we could have eliminated from both. But I will say the category or the team just to keep it fair. Quickly as you can, 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. You need two for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Seth Jarvis, Carolina Hurricanes.
24.
Correct. Taylor Hall, Carolina Hurricanes.
71.
Correct. Max Domi, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Andre Sekera, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Incorrect. Troy Bodie, Carolina Hurricanes.
52.
Incorrect. Max Domi, Carolina Hurricanes.
13.
Correct. Andre Sekera, Carolina Hurricanes.
52.
Incorrect. You didn't get Sekera, you didn't get Bodie, but you didn't need them. You only needed 2 for the win. You got 3 with Jarvis Hall and Domi. Congratulations. For those of you playing at home, Andre Sekera, number 4. Troy Bodie, number 20. But you are the winner of the Lumineers tickets. Jaden, congrats.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
Love the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's just say thank you back and forth to each other and congrats like 4 more times. Good vibes on a Friday. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you to make sure you get your prize, but congratulations. All right, here's how it all goes. Dennis, you get the info, then come back. Duke and UNC are playing tomorrow, okay? And for a multitude of reasons, we haven't been able to give it the proper attention that it deserves when a game like that is played because of the nature of the news coming out of the Carolina Hurricanes. But I do not want to, and I refuse to, if we're being honest, ignore it. So looking at this game, there's the way I've been describing it when talking casually is, yes, UNC is playing their best basketball. If you're looking at them as like some kind of a graph, it's been up the last 6 games. Just getting better, building off of each game, all the way up to the 30-point or 32-point win against Virginia Tech on the road in their last game. And that should draw an immense amount of confidence for UNC going into this game against Duke. Also, they should recognize the importance of the game. I've said it all week, pretty much from immediately after the win over Virginia Tech, that if UNC wins this game tomorrow, they make the NCAA tournament, which is not only big for UNC and Hubert Davis and the players and everybody as far as mitigating what could be a very, very big disappointment of a season, but also it's big for the ACC, right? Right now, there are 3 signed, sealed, delivered teams. Duke is in, Clemson is in, Louisville is in. UNC is really they're the best bet and maybe the only bet to get 4 teams into the NCAA tournament from the ACC. And I believe beating Duke clinches that. So there's something to root for if you're a casual fan. If you're not a fan of Duke or UNC, you're probably pulling for the Tar Heels for that fact alone if you're, a Wake Forest fan. The other side of it is for all of the up, every reason that you're excited about UNC, you could argue there is a greater level of that very same reason for Duke, right? UNC, they're on a 6-game winning streak. Duke, they're on a 7-game winning streak. UNC won their last game by 32 points. It was a dominant victory. Duke has won each of their last 4 games by at least 33 points. They were all dominant victories. UNC has these 2 extremely talented freshmen, Ian Jackson, Drake Powell, and by this point in the season, they're not freshmen anymore. They're sophomores, and they're playing really, really well in different ways. Well, Duke has 3 freshmen that'll probably be drafted in the lottery. Oh, but Jalen Withers is expanding his game, and over the last 6 has really emerged as a legit big, which is something UNC's been missing. Well, Isaiah Evans over the last 20 games has really emerged as an elite off-the-bench shooter, and it's something that you could argue Duke was missing a little bit, and there's no discrediting either of these teams, but it is important to recognize that just because one team is doing it and it feels new doesn't mean it's more impressive than the team where we're taking it for granted. Right? If you've been playing well all year, that's more impressive than turning a season around and playing well the last 6 games. So obviously, right, as we do every Friday, we end the show making our picks. You probably have a good idea of where my pick is going to go, but it doesn't discredit what UNC has done the last 6 games. And it does, and what the UNC has done the last 6 games has made it a much more difficult decision. Right? If you told me if you let me, or made me, I should say, if you made me make my pick for this game 3 weeks ago, it would be even more dramatically on the side of Duke than it probably will end up being.
Oh, that would have been like easy. It would have been an easy choice.
So my point is, and you can call me negative, you can call me a hater, you can call me whatever you want, is for all of the good UNC has done over the last 6 games, it feels much more gargantuan when compared to the rest of their season. Right? If they didn't have the lows that they had, including the 4-game stretch, which included the loss to Duke earlier this year, where their only win was a overtime win against Boston College. If they didn't have those lows, this last 6-game stretch wouldn't be so confidence-inducing. It would just be like, all right, they beat up on some bad teams. So that's kind of the point I'm making here. It's going to be a fun game. You know, after doing all of that talking and all of that breakdown of the history for these two teams, there's going to be some of you that say it's a rivalry game. You throw out the records anyway.
True.
So there's always that element. This rivalry is littered with instances of one team was better all year, the other team caught him in the rivalry game, and sometimes it doesn't even affect it moving forward, right? Then the good team goes on to make the Final Four, but hey, you get a little bragging rights there. Should be a really fun game. The stakes are high for both teams, as we said earlier. The play has been high over the last 2-3 weeks by both teams, which you're catching each other at their best. It is, and it's also just Duke at UNC. Senior day. And I'll end it there. I want to spend 30 seconds giving R.J. Davis some flowers.
Okay.
Because, we did this for NC State. They had their senior game earlier this week. And it was like, hey, regardless of how this season goes, it was an opportunity for State to say thank you to some guys that participated in some really cool memories for NC State fans. Well, guess what? R.J. Davis's senior day, it won't be able to be all about the seniors because it has to be all about finding a way to beat Duke. And they still have things on the line, so they can't just punt everything else and say, hey, we're playing the guys who are exhausting their eligibility and who cares about the result. R.J. Davis has been a main character in quite a few very, very cool memories for UNC. I'm teasing lovingly here. If I hear a UNC fan talk about the last game in Cameron for Coach K and the Final Four game against Coach K in his last game one more time, like if I had a nickel for every time I heard those games referenced, I would be a billionaire. And guess what? R.J. Davis was right there in the mix. So even if you're there understanding that a win puts you in the NCAA tournament, and even if you're there trying to ruin what could be a legendary season for Duke, take a little bit of time to say, hey, RJ, that was pretty cool. Appreciate it. Senior days, any former athlete, you understand. It's a little emotional on those senior days, and you want to play well and you want to have a cool moment. So hopefully RJ Davis gets his. Before we start making picks, before we start moving towards the end of the show, Dennis Cox has something for you. Dennis, take it away.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Folks, college basketball season, it's full go right now. Fans are ready to see which teams will prove they are ready to shine here in the month of March and who will be seen in San Antonio. You can get in on all the action from tip-off to the final whistle at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new ESPN Bet Sportsbook customers can bet $10 to get $100 in bonus bets and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the app and sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Will be making some picks coming up next. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Your home shelters your dreams and protects your memories. At Baker Home Exteriors, we understand this deeply. It's why we've dedicated ourselves to caring for homes like yours. As part of the Baker Roofing family, we bring a century of expertise to every project, from roofing and siding to windows and decks. We don't just upgrade homes, we help protect the life you've built within them. Because your home is where our heart is. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and start your home's next chapter.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
When it comes to great deals on tax prep, Jackson Hewitt isn't holding back, and neither is this commercial. Their offer is so big, it has to be said with Reverb, expert tax prep for $149 or less. It's a deal so spectacular, it needs a symphony, some explosions, and a clock ticking, because this offer, $149 or less, ends soon. One expert tax prep for $149 or less. Try Jackson Hewitt today and save. Whew. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
This hour of the drive brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com. Again, enbridgegas.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It has been a wild and crazy Friday, and I anticipate it, by the way, to be a wild and crazy, I don't know, starting like yesterday, 8 days. We have the ACC tournament coming up. Men's and women's basketball going on as we speak. There's the legal tampering period for the NFL opening up on Monday. There's still, we get to see the new look Carolina Hurricanes on Sunday for the first time. There's a lot of stuff up, down Duke-UNC over the weekend, tomorrow to end the regular season. It's going to be a chaotic bunch of days here, but today has been really fun. I do want to remind everybody that starting the 6 o'clock hour, so in 13 minutes. You can hear our conversation from earlier today with Eric Tolsky, the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. The guy that traded for and then traded away, Mikko Rantanen, within a 2-month period, joined the show earlier to talk about like how that situation even occurs. And I thought he was really good. I thought he was really open and insightful with the thought process behind everything and kind of how he saw the landscape moving throughout the process. So that's coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And we also have to make our picks. So, Dennis, take it away. What are we lining up? What are we knocking down here?
By the way, there's another game involving a triangle team tomorrow, men's basketball. It's NC State on the road at Miami.
Okay, can I tell a
wrap out the season for both these teams?
Can I tell a quick funny story?
Yes, absolutely.
So when I was in high school, as you might have guessed, I went into this career. I did the morning announcements. So we had TVs in every room, and me and my buddy were at a table like this, and
I did that as well in high school.
And as you can probably we would have some fun with it. We would tell some jokes, and our field hockey team was not very good, and I'm saying that generously. They went something like 4 or 5 straight games without scoring a goal, and we announced all of the scores. So, right, we'd be, over the weekend, the girls field hockey team lost to so-and-so school 13-0, 12-0. So we'd said that for so many games in a row. And then they played a game where they got beat, 12-1, but they scored a goal. So we did all of the scores, right? We did volleyball team won over the weekend, 3-2. The football team, we had to announce our own scores, won, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, we just went, and the field hockey team scored a goal. Didn't say any context, didn't say the final score. We just went, they scored a goal. Like, now to weather. And we just moved on. And we got in a lot of trouble. They said we were making fun of the field hockey team, which we were. But I kind of want to treat NC State the same way and go like, Duke at UNC this weekend. So much on the line. NCAA tournament berth, seeding in the ACC tournament. This, that, the others happening. Women's basketball. State ekes out a win. Da-da-da-da-da. And go through everything and then go, and NC State men also play. What other game do we want to pick? And just move on because it's NC State at Miami. Neither team is playing in the ACC tournament. They're the first teams to ever miss an ACC tournament, and NC State is also the team that won the ACC tournament last year. So they get the make fun of treatment here, and I think they earned it. We gave you all the love in the world and all of the attention for your senior day. That game really didn't matter either once, Stanford lost their game later that night. So this one, sorry we didn't get to you today. There was some other stuff going on.
So NC State at Miami, who wins?
NC State.
Okay.
They score a goal.
Okay.
Miami stinks worse than them. Congrats.
It's literally the 2 bottom teams in the ACC. That's just what it is. Speaking of, let's go rivals. NC State women's basketball, ACC tournament semifinal game in Greensboro against UNC women's basketball. NC State got a 1-point win over Georgia Tech this afternoon, 73-72. Got a late bucket and a late defensive stop in order to win. Who do you have? NC State, number 1 overall seed, ACC regular season champions on the women's side. Complete polar opposite of the men's team.
Here's the way I'm seeing it. I think a lot of teams, especially top seeds and everything, they're going to have the one shaky. And you just have to hope that you can pull out the win, right? You're going to have the one shaky, and either that's the upset and you remember it for the rest of your life, or somehow you beat Georgia Tech by 1, and that opens your eyes and that reignites your focus. So I think State's been the best team in the ACC this year on the women's basketball side. And granted, I do not pretend to be able to, watch every possession twice and dive in. But looking at the bigger picture stuff, they're the top seed. So I'll lean that way with the acknowledgement that the ACC women's bracket is significantly more full of teams I wouldn't want to play in the tournament than the men's bracket. And UNC definitely falls into that. They're a good enough team to pull off the upset. But if you make me make a choice, give me NC State.
Okay, let's actually head on down to another team here in the Triangle. Actually, 2 teams in the Triangle. I take that back. 1 team in the Triangle. Georgia Tech men's basketball at Wake Forest. It's actually a big game for Wake Forest tomorrow as they are trying to salvage something when it comes to their ACC basketball season and maybe maybe boost their seeding. They have a potential to finish 4th in the ACC. Wake Forest at home against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest wins that one.
Kind of have to, right?
I think they're a veteran squad, and exactly. There's more on the line for them. The team that wins these games late is oftentimes the team that's most desperate, most playing for something. Georgia Tech, we've seen them pull off upsets in the past. They seem to always, catch 2 or 3 teams sleeping each year in the ACC. Wake Forest should not be sleeping. I think they should show up ready and engaged, and they understand if they're going to make the NCAA tournament, they're pretty much going to have to win the ACC tournament, and it's easier to do that if you start on Thursday rather than Wednesday. So yes, I think Wake Forest wins, and it's probably by double digits.
Okay, let's go to the big one on Saturday night. Duke on the road at North Carolina. Duke is favored by 11.5 in this game.
Yeah, I think Duke wins. If we didn't get to the ladder challenge today, but my pick was going to be teasing Duke down to money line and just it was like minus 650 or something like that, winning outright. So I think they win.
You gonna make that your pick?
Sure, I'll do that if you want to throw one in there right now.
Oh, I have one for you.
Is it?
It is something hockey related.
Stankovic. Yes. Stankoven, sorry.
Stankovic.
Stankoven, more than one shot attempt.
I have the Washington Capitals plus 1.5 goals tonight against the Detroit Red Wings because Washington didn't give up anybody really on their team. So yeah, plus 1.5 at home. That's a minus 650.
All right, so we're similar bets there.
Yep.
Give me Duke on the money line. But I think I'm going to say Duke covers. I can't get their last 4 games out of my brain. They're rolling.
And that's the thing as well. Is like North Carolina is playing their best basketball of the season, but so is Duke.
They both are.
Yeah, which is great.
It's as far as like a competitor's honor. This is how you want this game. You want them both playing their best. You want them both peaking at the right time, and then you get a true measure of who's better. Right? Then you get a true measure. It's not like, oh, well, you caught us when, so-and-so was in a shooting slump, and you caught us when our defense was still learning the system. It's none of that. You're both playing your best ball. Go out there, find out who's best. I think this year, and it sometimes swings back and forth on a yearly basis, but I think this year, Duke is the better team, and I'm leaning on that being the difference.
Final one, Sunday, 5 o'clock. Club Lenovo. New look Carolina Hurricanes take on the Winnipeg Jets, who just so happen to be the best team in the NHL this season, with our new look Canes at home on Sunday.
I think this
with Stankoven.
Do the stanky leg.
We got Jankowski in as well. Let's make this happen.
I think there is going to be a darn near obvious Canes weight off their shoulders.
100%.
I think they're going to be skating faster, chirping more. I think it is going to be. Now, is that enough to beat Winnipeg? Questions easier answered, or easier asked than answered. I'm taking the Canes. I'm taking the Canes 4-3, and Aho multiple goals. Aho 2 or 3 goals. 2 or 3 goals from Aho because he's out there with his origin story. His best friend just left him. He's laser focused. There are no friends in the NHL, just those that wear your sweater and those that are in your way. Canes win. Canes win. Canes win. Dennis, give us your prediction quickly. We have 20 seconds.
Canes win 4-3.
Hey, look at that. We're aligned. We're usually not. Connor scores none. Just throwing that out there. We have Overdrive coming up. Eric Tolsky conversation from earlier today. Learn all the ins and outs of the Canes trade deadline. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. See ya.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Johnson trying to step back for a 3. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damask from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The Get That Out of Here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Something amazing is happening in data management.